school safety, doxing, DEI, and possibly a measure on online sports betting. From the state capitol, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Jonathan will be at the Gold Dome throughout the day to keep us updated. It is 39 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says we sunny, chillier again today. The high only getting into the mid-50s. More strong wind gusts are likely as well. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. More cuts expected to be announced soon by the Trump administration. This time, sources say the president is preparing an executive order to begin the steps to dissolve the Department of Education. Correspondent Rachel Scott, though, noting that getting rid of the department altogether requires congressional approval.
Most funding for public schools already is at the state and local level, but the department does oversee billions of dollars in funding to help low-income students and students with disabilities. It enforces civil rights laws to prevent discrimination in schools, manages about $1.5 trillion in student loan debt.
And it oversees the process of students applying for college financial aid through avenues like Pell Grants. New Education Secretary Linda McMahon has also pushed to do away with the department, although the plan may fall short of the necessary 60 votes in the Senate. It comes a day after a new VA Secretary and former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins announced a planned 15% reduction of that agency's workforce, or almost 80,000 people. Georgia high school seniors who are starting the process of applying for college can save money on applications this month. Lynn Riley with the Georgia Student Finance Commission says the application fee waiver applies to the more than 60 public colleges and universities in the state.
Students that might be interested in multiple schools here in Georgia could save hundreds of dollars applying to a variety of colleges and then find out that there is a place for them to learn here in our state.
The Georgia Match program is meant to help more students pursue higher education. She says keeping students in Georgia helps the state's economy in the long term. The investigation continues this morning after crews worked through the night to put out hot spots following a house fire in DeKalb County. It's believed the fire started in the garage of the home on Pinehurst Place near Wesley Chapel Road, but then spread to the rest of the home. One person was treated for injuries. Gusty winds may have helped spread those flames. No word yet, though, on a cause. Fulton County looks to lure workers who have fallen victim to federal cuts.
Some say you're fired. I say you're hired here in Fulton County.
It's called Operation Public Servant. Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts says there are likely at least 2,000 county residents now out of a job thanks to the DOJ purge of federal employees. He wants to welcome them to the ranks of Fulton County.
We have approximately 800 positions that are authorized positions that are funded, but they're vacant. We need good, qualified, experienced, professional people.
Pitts says if these workers meet the job requirements, they are guaranteed an interview in Fulton County. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Should be some tense moments for NASA right around 12:30 this afternoon as a commercial lunar lander attempts to touch down on the moon's surface. Follows the successful touchdown of another craft earlier this week on the moon. Space consultant Bill Harwood says NASA heavily funds both of these landers.
It was done through a program that's encouraging private companies to develop spacecraft that can carry NASA payloads to the moon to collect data needed before astronauts land near the South Pole in the next few years.
The Athena lander will have about 10 days to drill and use a rover to take images before its solar power runs out. It is 9:03. Mark Aram Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. And we start on the roads in triple team traffic. That starts with Smile and Mark McKay.
We'll set aside the travel advisory rolling out of Duluth into Norcross. Crash that was in multiple right center lanes has been moved to the shoulder. Georgia State Patrol will work it there on 85 southbound at Pleasant Hill Road, exit 104. Still tight leaving the 316 interchange. Crash that's been around since about 7 o'clock this morning, still being worked in the right lane southwest DeKalb County on the outer loop 285 east at Boulder Crest Road, exit 51. New travel advisory if you're leaving Stockbridge, heading toward the city. Ashley Frasca.
Delays through Morrow with a crash on 75 northbound past Highway 54. Jonesboro Road, stay in the right lanes. No need for an alternate route yet. Once you get downtown, that earlier trouble on the connector northbound near Freedom Parkway has been moved off to the side, but heavy brake lights begin up from 166 Langford Parkway and 85 south into town. That slows from North Druid Hills. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, breezy with a high of 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms down after sunset around 6:30. Temperatures will fall into the mid-30s for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy, highs in the mid-60s.
40 degrees right now in Fairburn, 37 in Milton, 39 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to this Thursday edition of the Mark Arum Show on this refreshingly frosty Thursday morn. Hope you stay warm. I enjoyed it walking the dogs this morning. Last gasp of winter before we head into spring and summer. We have got a massive show for you today, 30 minutes from now. Going back live to Detroit, a pause on the automotive tariffs, what that means to the automakers here in Georgia. And folks like me and you that drive around, we get a pause on those tariffs for the automobiles. Jeff Gilbert's going to join us live from Detroit. 80,000 workers possibly going to be let go by the VA. How that could impact Veterans Affairs here in the metro area. We'll check in with Ben Siegel on that. More movement on the Russia-Ukraine talks. We'll check in with the White House and John Decker. And this is really exciting. I absolutely adore. We were having this conversation the other day, Longoria. We went out to lunch with the concrete guys.
Oh yeah.
I am so proud of folks that go out and do work on their own, become entrepreneurs. I just don't have that genetic makeup to put up my own shingle and be my own boss. This is really exciting. In the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to a father-son duo here from Metro Atlanta. They're doing just that. The dad and his 7-year-old kid. They've started their own business, and they're going to be on Shark Tank tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. So they're going to join us live, I believe, in studio as well. So very cool. I love that entrepreneurial spirit. That's what built this great nation of ours. I just wish I had it. Although if I had it, I wouldn't be sitting behind this mic at 9:07 on a Thursday. I want to start off, though. You heard Judd mentioned it. Not to say we didn't know this was coming. This was a campaign promise from President Trump. Sources say he's about to sign an executive order to, quote, dismantle the Department of Education. Linda McMahon, frequent guest of the Mark Arum Show, now the new head of the Department of Education, just got confirmed, and now her first task from the president is to dismantle it. Now, this is not a shock, right? President Trump campaigned on this many times here in Georgia as well, talking about what he finds inadequate about the federal level of Department of Education. But this could have a huge impact here in Metro Atlanta, North Georgia, in fact, all of Georgia. The latest now from the White House, Kevin Liptak.
Yeah, this is a step that the White House has been preparing for quite some time. Certainly, President Trump has been signaling since he was a candidate his intent to close down the Department of Education, but now we're learning he could put his signature on this executive order as early as today. And what it would do, as you said, essentially direct Linda McMahon, who was just confirmed as the Secretary of Education earlier this week, to begin steps to close that agency. But it does, make clear that she must do this to the extent that it is permitted by law. And I think that is the acknowledgement by the White House and by the Trump administration that fully closing a department within the federal government will require Congress. It will require 60 votes in Congress to overcome a filibuster, which is certainly not the case right now. There are 53 Republicans. And so I think there's an acknowledgement that they will have to do this sort of bit by bit. And what we have heard is that this will essentially involve moving elements of the Department of Education to other agencies. And of course, this is a department that has wide purview. They administer billions of dollars in grants for poverty-stricken schools. They administer the $1.6 trillion student loan program. So there's a lot of money at stake here. But what we heard from Linda McMahon when she was confirmed this week is that she is fully on board. She says that she is fully aligned with the president's vision to eliminate what she calls bureaucratic bloat inside the education department. And she calls this one final unforgettable public service to the people at that agency. And it was interesting to hear President Trump, soon after he was sworn in, talk about the task that he was assigning McMahon. Listen to what he said.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
Already scores of Department of Education employees have been laid off as part of this wider effort to reduce the size of the federal government. Many more have been put on notice that they could be at risk for further layoffs. They call them reductions in force inside the federal government. Obviously, all of this is part of the plan here at the White House, executed by Elon Musk to seriously reshape the size and scope of the federal bureaucracy that has already generated some concerns among Democrats, certainly, but also among Republicans. That was one of the reasons why Musk went up to Capitol Hill to meet House and Senate Republicans. They want better communication. He gave them their cell phone number. He's setting up a hotline in order to hear their questions and concerns going forward.
All right, Kevin Liptak at the White House. So again, this should not come as a surprise to anyone listening. Things to note. As Kevin mentioned there, this will take an act of Congress to eliminate this department. And I believe it's 60 votes needed in the White House. The Republicans, with a 53-seat majority, don't have the 60. But what President Trump could do is move facets of the currently configured Department of Education into other departments. Now, I don't want to, anyone that has kids or grandkids in the school or someone that's in the education business to run screaming for the hills, because I think I know what President Trump's going to try to do here. Again, court battles, we don't know if this is going to be successful, but he has said for a long time that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education. He even said to Linda McMahon, I want to hire you and but take apart the job that I'm giving you. I want you to put yourself out of a job. Now, just hard facts here in Georgia. I pulled up the Georgia numbers for us. In K through 12, these are public schools, K through 12 public schools. Georgia receives $4.4 billion from the federal government. So every year, this is 2014, last year, Georgia received $4.4 billion from the federal government for the Department of Education. That comes down to about $2,500 per pupil. State funding for students. So our state taxes, right? We're about to file taxes. You got your federal taxes, you got your state taxes. State funding for K through 6 schools in Georgia is $11.1 billion, or about $6,300 per pupil. So the Fed's kicking in $2,500 per student, state taxes $6,300 per pupil. But the biggest money pot when it comes to education in Georgia is local funding. So think about the city you live in, whether it's Beaufort, Decatur, Stockbridge, Douglasville. It's those local taxes that, you pay for the schools down the street. Local funding in the state of Georgia last year, K through 12 public schools, $12.4 billion. So a majority, or the highest number of money for education, comes at the local level, then state funding level, and then in third place is the federal government level. But it's still $2,500 per pupil from the federal government, $6,300 per pupil from the state government, and $7,000 per pupil from the local level. Add it all up, Georgia K through 12 schools spend $14,660 per pupil for a total of $25.7 billion annually. That's what we spend in Georgia for every student, $14,660. A majority of it coming from state and local funds, but the federal government kicks in $2,500 per pupil every year. Every student, your son, your daughter, that's $2,500. Total of $4.4 billion last year that we received from the federal government. What I think the president is going to do, I think should alleviate some concerns of those of you freaking out right now that the Department of Education will be dismantled. What I expect to have happen, I'll explain next on the Mark Arum Show.
WSB is looking for a home for goldfish. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. He is our dog of the month. With Paws in Atlanta, we're looking for Goldfish's new family. He's about 3, loved a good belly rub when we met him here, cuddling and curious. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, pays the adoption fee. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Welcome to Window Wisdom with North Georgia Replacement Windows. Today, we're talking with the experts about Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows. Ted Kirk and Jonathan Cullum, owners of North Georgia Replacement Windows. What's the difference in price shopping versus making an investment when it comes to shopping for windows?
If you're just price shopping, you will likely end up with an inferior product and installation, and your windows will likely need to be replaced again. With your investment in Infinity fiberglass windows, you get a superior product and replace your windows with windows you'll never need to replace.
With all the different home styles in Georgia, how does the Infinity window match up?
Designed by a wood window architect at Marvin, Infinity fiberglass windows fit the look of your home like traditional wood windows, but don't rot. There's also less window frame, so they appeal to contemporary homeowners too. Less frame equals more light and bigger views.
What about the warranty on the Infinity fiberglass windows?
Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows are the only premium window with a limited lifetime warranty. Backed by a company that's been in business for over 100 years, North Georgia Replacement Windows also has a lifetime service warranty.
So, Jonathan, how does someone find out more about the Infinity fiberglass windows? What's the process?
We're the only authorized retailer in Georgia for the Infinity fiberglass windows, where we can provide a free in-home consultation and proposal with no gimmicks.
Jonathan and Ted, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, experience, and expertise. Right now at North Georgia Replacement Windows, spring deals are blooming. You'll get 18% off your project, plus up to 24 months no interest, no payment financing. Hurry, these offers end 3/31/25. Be sure to visit our beautiful new showroom in Alpharetta. And don't forget to check out our website for all the details on these special financing offers and savings. Visit us today at ngwindows.com. That's ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
When your termite bond renewal comes in the mail, do you cringe wondering, how much more are they going to charge me now? Switch to Breda Pest Management and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. If your termite service doesn't inspect inside, how do you know you're protected? With Breda, you get total peace of mind that your home is termite-free inside and out, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 full years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
9:19 on the Mark Aram Show, checking big delays down on Atlanta's south side. Live to the 24-hour traffic center, Mike Shields.
It's a Morrow crash that has all northbound lanes of I-75 shut down while fire department, police, and ambulance work to get everything off to the right. This is 75 northbound past Highway 54, Jonesboro Road, exit 233. Listening from Stockbridge, you can take I-675 north toward Ellenwood. If you continue on the perimeter, you're rolling past a crash that's in a right lane on 285 east, the outer loop at Boulder Crest Road, exit 51. Smile Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
VA will always fulfill its duty to provide veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors the health care and benefits they have earned. That's a promise.
Head of the VA, our buddy Secretary Doug Collins there. We've got a lot of audio from Mr. Collins and the possibility of 80,000 workers losing their jobs from the VA. 10 o'clock, we'll check in with Ben Siegel from ABC, get details on that story. I want to circle back and continue our discussion. Again, sources say that President Trump likely to sign an executive order that will, quote, not my words, dismantle the Department of Education on the federal level. All right, I went through the spending on what we get from the federal government in the last segment. In case you missed it, Georgia gets K through 12 public schools only get $4.4 billion from the feds, which works out to about $2,500 per student. Now, listen, President Trump's been talking about this, and he keeps saying he wants, he keeps touting our economic, not our educational record when it compares to other developed nations. Now, he had some of the numbers wrong, but he's not happy with how we're performing against our allies in Europe and Asia, right? We're spending more on our kids, but getting less results. And he keeps saying, I want to send the power of education back to the states, right? That has been his line. I want it to go to the state level. Let the states determine how they educate their kids. That has been the central theme from before the campaign for his second term, through the campaign, and now in his presidency. He wants to dismantle the Department of Education and leave it up to the states, right? States' rights. How can Georgia best serve their students? How can Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, how can they best serve? They know better than the Department of Education at the federal level. That is, he has been consistent on this message. None of this should be a surprise to anyone. What I think is going to happen is that $2,500 per pupil that Georgia gets from the federal government, I don't think that's going away. I don't think President Trump is going to take funding away from students here in Georgia. What I think the plan is to cut the federal government out of it, to get rid of the Department of Education, which employs 4,400 people, 3,000 basically in D.C., and then 1,100 employees at 10 regional offices around. I don't think President Trump wants to get rid of funding for our schools from the federal level. I think he wants to get rid of the workers at the DOE at the federal level, or at the minimum, a bare bones staff. I don't think that he wants the Department of Education saying, these are the curriculums. This is what we think you should do. These are the resources we have. I could be, Pollyannic on this, but I don't think that we're going to lose that funding here in Georgia from the Department of Education. I think President Trump envisions keeping that funding, just giving it to the state of Georgia. All right, every in the state of Georgia, you got $4.4 billion. You guys determine how it's spent. Not the feds, but the state Department of Education. The local superintendents, the local boards of education. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to see $4.4 billion less in our school budgets next year if the Department of Education goes away. And it still might not go away, right? You need 60 senators to pass it. But I think there will be major changes to the Department of Education. I think what President Trump envisions is from 4,400 DOE employees to, 50? Get rid of all that. It's a $68 billion budget, by the way, the DOE. That's what I envision President Trump doing. Getting rid of the federal level, the red tape, et cetera, but keeping the funding that goes to the states. He wants the states to decide. He hasn't said, I want to cut off the funding for the states. So I think if you are a parent, a grandparent, an educator, a school board member, if the dismantling of the DOE happens, it won't impact how much money we get here in Georgia from the federal government. I still think that will be available. I think the cost cutting is going to come from salaries, right? 4,400 employees at the Department of Education on the federal level. Do we need that many? And you look at the number of employees at the DOE compared to some of the other agencies that DOJ has been going after. Not a huge amount. I mean, $4,400 is a sizable amount, but not a huge amount. So that, again, I could be just looking through this with rose-colored glasses, but I think that's what President Trump is aiming at when it comes to dismantling the Department of Education. Pulling in some more numbers, like some of the stuff that the Department of Education, so it breaks down to $2,500 per pupil, but a lot of it's broken down, some of the funding. So like rural and low-income school programs, right? I think we can all get on board that they need assistance, right? You think about the one-room schoolhouses in South Georgia, North Georgia, the low-income schools. They got $8 million from the feds last year. Student support and enrichment state grants was $49 million from the federal budget. Homeless children and youth education got $4 million. Like, there are some programs that I mean, who wouldn't want to help out rural and low-income schools? Who wouldn't want to help out homeless kids in youth education? Preschool grants. Grants for infants and families. So I think there's a lot of good stuff. And I think the funding will still be there. I just think that we're going to be in charge in Georgia. And I think we'll be fine. Now, I do worry, if you look at the levels of states, there are some states that they probably need a buddy system, right? If you look at the education results in Mississippi, West Virginia, right? They're like 48th, 49th, 50th. Maybe they need a buddy program. Like, all right, West Virginia, you're going to pal up with Wisconsin. They're top 3. Wisconsin, teach West Virginia what to do. I think we'll be fine here in Georgia. I don't think anybody needs to pull out their hair. And again, it's still not a certainty that the DOE will be dismantled. But I think it will be reformed, reshaped. I think there will be cuts at the federal level. I think there's going to be some of those 4,400 employees at the federal level that lose their job. But I don't think that here in Georgia we're going to lose that federal funding, which again last year was $4.4 billion. Still way less than we kick in with state and local taxes for our kids. Anyway, very important story, obviously, locally and nationally. We'll continue to update that. I've reached out to Linda McMahon's people, try to get her on the show to talk about it. When we come back after news, weather, and traffic, yesterday we were biting our nails about these automotive tariffs. Well, they've been paused. What that means to Georgia drivers and folks in the automotive industry here in Georgia. Jeff Gilbert from Detroit, Michigan. He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we're treating the untreatable. Using a patient's unique genetic makeup, our researchers are developing personalized cancer vaccines that help stimulate the immune system to better fight the disease and prevent it from recurring. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Raise your hand if you've already turned on the heat because of the dropping temperatures. I'm raising my hand. It's Mark Arum here. I held out as long as I could, cranked up my furnace from Reliable Heating and Air. Speaking of which, did you know you can get any size furnace from Reliable Heating and Air, just $59.99 a month, and ask about their clean air upgrades. Get your free consultation by visiting ReliableAir.com. Over 240,000 homeowners, including me, have taken advantage of their Comfort as a Service program and saved thousands on heating and cooling systems, water heaters, generators, and more. Low monthly payments and all future repairs, maintenance, even filters, no additional charge for life. Plus, next day installation guarantee, or they pay you $500. Amazing promo right now. Any size furnace, just $59.99 a month, and ask about their clean air upgrades. Just go to ReliableAir.com and book your free consultation today.
When you need quality professional tree work, choose Heath Tree Service. Hi, I'm Jimmy Heath. My father started Heath Tree Service over 60 years ago, and we're still family-owned. Certified arborists and experts with trees. Find us at heathtreeservice.com.
If your home shows any sign of foundation issues like cracking exteriors, bowed walls, or sticking windows, your house may have a foundation problem. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions is here to help you. Schedule your free inspection at aquaguard.net now. Foundation issues? Remember, AquaGuard.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. Our top story this half hour. Watching more budget news this morning from the Trump administration. It appears the president preparing to sign an executive order calling for the shutdown of the Education Department. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe notes the move will likely take more than an executive order.
His new education secretary, Linda McMahon, recently talked about this during her confirmation hearing, acknowledging that ultimately it's Congress that's going to have to step in and actually shutter the department, but that would take at least 60 votes in the Senate.
And there will likely be plenty of legal challenges, too. Education Department was established at the end of the Carter administration. Comes a day after new Veterans Affairs Secretary and former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins announces plans to cut almost 80,000 positions from that agency. It is 39 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the high will only get into the mid-50s today. See plenty of sunshine, but those wind gusts will pick back up again. We warm up a bit tomorrow, though. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Emory University announces a hiring freeze as a response to directives and policy changes from the federal government. In a letter to the Emory community, school president Gregory Finvez outlined several measures they will implement. Along with the hiring freeze, he says the school will also reduce operational spending and assess its research funding. Medical and scientific research are major components of Emory's mission. WSB Scam Alert. Thieves in Chamblee are using fake information to sell stolen cars to unwitting buyers who wind up with a car note, but no car.
Police have recovered more than 20 cars with stolen VIN numbers already this year in Chamblee. Criminals produce fake VIN number stickers, attach them to the stolen cars, and even create matching title registrations. This officer informs a woman who thinks she made a legitimate purchase.
I have bad news, though, okay? What happens at this point is we take it.
The cops reclaim the car, but this undercover sergeant tells Channel 2 Action News that's not the end of her troubles.
Now she's left without a car, but also a car note she's got to pay for a car she doesn't have.
Police say Carfax reports and a scan of the vehicle's onboard computer can help buyers protect themselves. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
A warning to drivers in Decatur. A busy section of East Ponce de Leon Avenue will be closed for much of the day today, so DeKalb County watershed management crews can do repairs to a sewer line. Closure is expected until about 7 tonight near the Avondale MARTA station. Could make for a really messy afternoon commute. Drivers are told to find an alternate route. Detour signs will be in place to help reroute that traffic. And mixed results are in from the Federal Reserve's new overview of Atlanta's economy.
The Federal Reserve's Beige Book survey of regional business contacts has been released. Atlanta Fed's contribution shows that the economy of the 6th District expanded at a modest pace, while employment remained steady. Also remaining steady were travel and tourism. Negatively, retail sales fell slightly while home sales declined a bit. There were modest increases, though, in wages, input costs, and prices, along with energy demand, while transportation activity grew modestly. Loan growth, though, was moderate, while manufacturing expanded slightly. I'm Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman for 95.5 WSB.
Speaking of the economy at 9:33, we check your money. A rotten start on Wall Street this morning. In fact, the NASDAQ starts the day down almost 2% already. S&P is down about 1.5%, and Dow is down just over 1%. Rotten numbers to start this Thursday. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. And start the WSB 24-hour traffic center. And Smile on Mark McKay.
Rotten ride on I-75 through Clayton County tomorrow. Past a crash that had all lanes shut down. Now they're working in a right lane. 75 north, just north of Jonesboro Road. Exit 233. Difficult out of Buckhead. If you have to get anywhere in a hurry, take Peachtree, Piedmont. Don't get on 400. Left lane construction on 400 south of the 85 merge, keeping things stacked up at Lennox Road. And the west side perimeter bogged down. Looks like construction set up in a right lane on the outer loop, 285 south, MLK Junior Drive, exit 9. Smile on Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms later tonight with lows dropping into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy, an isolated rain shower possible, highs in the mid-60s.
39 degrees right now in Cartersville, 39 in Dunwoody, 40 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10, breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia announces his resignation.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Some brake lights out of Cobb County, I-20 eastbound.
We've got it covered.
The U.S. Surgeon General is warning about a link between alcohol and cancer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Right now, VA's biggest problem is that its bureaucracy and inefficiencies are
Secretary
getting in
Doug
the way of
Collins
customer
still to come. We'll talk
convenience
about
and
possible big cuts at the VA. But next, a pause on the automotive tariffs. We go live to Detroit, Michigan. Talk about the pause in the tariffs and the impact here in Georgia. That's 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
Have you ever really thought about the service companies you use? If you don't already have an HVAC company, let me save you some time. For almost 30 years, Ragsdale has been knowledgeable, friendly, and on time. I know you can trust Ragsdale to take care of all of your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. Quality work at a fair price and a 4.9 Google rating. Some of Ragsdale's employees have been with them for almost 30 years. That's trusted work right there. There's no time like now before spring arrives. Schedule at ragsdaleair.com. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
Dad, one more horsey ride, please.
This living room rodeo moment made possible by Emory Orthopedics and Spine Center. When Dad needed back surgery, he came to Emory. The difference? Emory's among the highest in patient satisfaction and best surgical outcome rates in the nation. And Emory uses the most advanced research developed by our top surgeons to get Dad's back surgery done right the first time. Giddy up. EmoryHealthcare.org/orthodifference.
If you're a longtime Atlanta resident, I don't have to tell you, weather in March goes bananas. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Spring thunderstorms rolling in, rain, wind, even hail. Want you to get your roof ready for these storms. Dr. Roof here to help you. Check out their March specials at drroof.com. That's drroof.com. Roof repair, roof replacement, heck, even siding and windows. They do it all. Be prepared this crazy March. Go to drroof.com, drroof.com.
Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. Create your dream engagement ring and browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts. From diamond studs, tennis bracelets, birthstone necklaces, and more. With our everyday competitive prices, an unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company knows how to work with your budget, not against it. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is why I'm not a day trader or deal with the markets. I would have assumed that since we have a pause on the automotive tariffs, Wall Street hates uncertainty, that we'd see a nice jump at Wall Street this morning. But oh no, the Dow is down 500 points, NASDAQ down 350 points. That is why I suggest you check in with Wes Moss on stock advice. Do not check in with me. I totally whiffed on that. Speaking of the tariff pause, joining us live covering the automotive beat for WWJ in Detroit, Michigan, our buddy Jeff Gilbert. Jeff, good morning as always. Thanks for your time.
Sure. Maybe Wall Street was excited yesterday when they heard the announcement, then they realized it was only for 30 days.
But 30 days is still 30 days. For folks that haven't caught up on the story, we've been talking about the looming automotive tariffs between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and they went into effect on the 4th. Yesterday, we got a 30-day reprieve. What was the story behind that?
Yeah, story behind that is the Detroit 3 car makers, all the CEOs had a conference call with President Trump, and the president agreed to do that. And if you take a look at the releases, the statements put out by the car makers, there was a lot of praise for the president. There was also a lot of talk about how much they invested in the U.S. So you kind of wonder, is this 30-day pause going to give them time to make some big investment announcements?
It's President Trump has been tariff, whether he wants them or just as a negotiating tool with our trade partners. It seems like, I don't want to say he bended the knee to the automakers, but he obviously took their concerns to heart to get this 30-day pause.
Yeah, I think what he is trying to do, in addition to stopping the flow of drugs, is also getting more investment in the U.S. And the automakers explained how much they invested. They also explained how important this industry is and how interconnected it is to the American economy. And I would imagine the president was also looking at what was happening on Wall Street.
No doubt. Jeff, so does this pause, the 30-day automotive tariff pause, does it go both ways? So we're pausing our tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico when it comes to automotive. Is it reciprocal? Are we now not getting tariffed from our neighbors to the north and south?
That I don't know about, but I know their tariffs were planned to be reciprocal, so probably not. The biggest question we still have is auto parts, which, a lot of those flow across the border, and the organization that supports auto parts manufacturers says they believe that this freeze extends to them, but they're not 100% sure, so we're still trying to sort that out as well.
So we don't have clarification. So the as far as we know, or we don't know if actual just parts are paused in this tariff.
Exactly. Again, the assumption it is they are, and when we talk about parts, we're not talking about replacement parts. We're talking about components that are made in one area and then are put into a vehicle elsewhere, because there are a lot of suppliers that provide those parts for vehicles. About 70% of a vehicle is purchased from suppliers.
Gotcha. Jeff Gilbert covers the automotive industry for WWJ in Detroit, Michigan, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. All right, this 30-day pause, how is that going to impact consumers here in Metro Atlanta and North Georgia?
It just adds to the uncertainty. I mean, obviously, that means prices won't go up over the next 30 days, but we didn't know if they were going to go up anyway, because it was hard to tell how much car makers were going to have to eat of the cost increases as well. So essentially what it does is, it gives us more uncertainty. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, so, we're not going to have clarity for a while.
You mentioned the big three, coming out, and probably were the fire that stoked this pause. Here in Georgia, I mentioned the other day, Kia and Hyundai plants, big Asian car makers. Are they left out of the fold in this? Does this pause not impact them, or do they get parts from Canada and Mexico as well?
Yes, they are impacted by this pause because it impacts all of the car makers that are compliant with the USMCA agreement, and they would obviously be compliant. And again, if it includes parts makers, it would include them, which is very important because, they do a lot of their sourcing, a lot of the components. Some of these parts makers set up shop near these plants in Georgia. So some will come from a close distance, but a lot of other parts are made in Mexico and some are made in Canada. So they will need to get them from there, even the plants that are running in Georgia.
Final question for you, Jeff. Are we going to revisit this issue before the 30-day pause? Do you think that maybe there'll be a firm deal, or are you going to be back on in 30 days and we're going to talk about the end of the tariff pause?
Well, as they say, nothing focuses people like a deadline, so I would imagine we'll still have something in the next 30 days, but I would also imagine that we'll have some announcements of some sort of investments in the next 30 days. You can't build an auto plant in 30 days, but you can say, hey, we plan to do this, and that's something the president could point to as progress.
Jeff Gilbert, invaluable resource, always jumping on in the breaking news. Jeff, thanks so much for your time, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So that's don't take stock advice. I thought, Deborah, I was like, oh, this is good news. The markets are going to go up. There's a 30-day pause, which gives them time to negotiate and hit the womp womp sounder, Longoria. Dow's down 552, NASDAQ down 320, S&P down 87. I don't play the market. I have an anecdotal story, Deborah. There you go. Thanks, Longoria. When it comes to tariffs. So this will impact maybe, if I'm lucky, one or two listeners. But it's impacting the baseball card industry. So when it comes to baseball cards, to increase the value of your cards, you like to get your good cards graded, right? So you have an independent appraiser look at them and say, they give you a score between 1 and 10. 10 being the best, 1 being it's a really bad condition card. And the higher the grade, the more the card is worth. And the leader in this industry is a place called PSA. I can't tell you what the PSA stands for, but that you get a card. Let's say I have a rookie year Longoria card that not graded sells for $20. I get it a PSA 10, it could sell for $200, right? So it jumps up. Yeah. So they're located in California. They have offices in California, Texas, and New Jersey. But they take submissions from all over the globe. They have paused taking submissions from Canada because they don't know how the tariff is going to work. So, for example, let's say I live in Vancouver and I want to send in my Longoria rookie card to get graded. And it grades a 10, and now all of a sudden it's a $200 card. PSA doesn't know, do I have to charge a tariff now on a $200 card? So they have just stopped taking.
Yeah, that's so confusing.
Yeah, it's really confusing. So I mean, it doesn't impact me because I'm in the U.S. There's no tariff. There's no Georgia to California tariff. Not yet. But just the small little story how so many industries, they don't know what to do when it comes to tariffs. So PSA, they're saying, no, if you're in Canada, Mexico, don't send us any cards because we don't know how the tariffs are going to work on them. I know that's minuscule compared to the automotive industry, but just showing you that there is a lot of confusion. All right, maybe that's what it is. Confusion on Wall Street. Dow down 591 points. All right, we went in depth on the possibility of the dismantling of the Department of Education. Coming up next, 80,000 workers at the VA might be out of a job. Very important story and an impactful story here in Georgia. Ben Siegel from ABC News with the details next on The Mark Arum Show.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
I've got a sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and for over a decade, I've trusted America's best choice for windows, doors, siding, and decks.
Spring is the perfect time to update your home, and America's Best Choice makes it easy with these spring specials. Highest quality, energy-efficient windows starting at just $299. Take 10% off a new deck and create the outdoor oasis of your dreams. No pressure, no gimmicks. Visit abcwin.com today to schedule your free consultation.
Are you already feeling overwhelmed with your long list of places to clean in your home? Well, get your spring cleaning done now so you can enjoy the warm weather ahead of us and let Zerorez do the work for you. Hey, it's Chris Chandler, and Zerorez is the only one I trust to keep my home insanely clean. Zerorez doesn't use harsh chemicals, just their patented ZR water technology that gets your carpets actually clean. No residue, no sticky mess, just fresh, spotless carpets. And right now, they're making it easy to give your home a spring refresh with their spring cleaning sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. But wait, when you mention me, Chris Chandler, they'll clean your hallway for free. That is right, for free. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 and a free hallway cleaning. Just tell them I sent you. Book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. That's ZerorezAtlanta.com. ZerorezAtlanta.com.
Multiple contractors and estimates for your home projects? What a hassle. Instead, trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We're reliable, fully licensed, and insured. No muss, no fuss. Trust the Plus and leave everything on your list to us.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down again.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression. Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today. Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
9:49 on the Mark Arum Show, checking interstate delays around town. Here's Mike Shields.
It jammed up out of Buckhead into northeast Atlanta, Mark. Roadwork set up again today, 400 southbound, right at the ramp to I-85 southbound. That blocks the left lane. Right lane blocked on the west side perimeter. I-25 southbound, the outer loop just past MLK Junior Drive, exit 9, with roadwork already slow back before Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The money we're saving by eliminating non-mission critical and duplicative contracts is money we're going to redirect to veteran-facing healthcare, benefits, and services, resulting in massive improvements in customer service and convenience.
That's a hell of a word, duplicative. That's Doug Collins, our former congressman, now the head of the VA. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show, covering the VA story from ABC News. It's Ben Siegel. Ben, good morning. Hearing that up to 80,000 workers at the VA could be losing their jobs coming up. Do we know who is going to lose their jobs and what kind of impact we might feel here in the metro area and North Georgia?
Well, I think it'll be felt all across the country. The tens of thousands of VA workers in Georgia and across the rest of the United States, and we know that about one in four VA workers is a veteran themselves. So when you lose about a fifth of the workforce, we think this will start taking place over the summer. That's going to have an impact as well on people who have served who work for the agency. And I think there are real serious questions about, will this impact the quality and level of care that veterans receive? Because, the VA has expanded the benefit most recently in 2022 to veterans under something called the PACT Act, which, if you're a veteran who's exposed to toxic burn pits, where essentially trash was being burned at bases all across the Middle East during the first Gulf War after the 9/11 era, you were eligible for VA care. And as part of that, the VA added to its workforce to address and respond to those claims. So now there are real questions about how the agency can keep up that level of care and service the increasing number of veterans and medical issues if it loses a good chunk of its workforce in the coming months.
Ben, so the way I'm reading the story is the Trump administration wants to bring staffing levels back to where they were before that PACT Act was enabled, bipartisan PACT Act, I should say, in 2022.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So look, it's not there's a game plan they're trying to follow. They're not picking a random number. They want to bring it back in line to where the staffing was during the Trump administration, 4 years ago. But again, if you have by law expanded the number of benefits and conditions that are covered by the VA for veterans, they might have challenges fulfilling that if they're decreasing the number of staff. The PACT Act had money in the bill to support this expansion and to hire more staffers. And as part of this, the VA is also cutting its budget as part of this Elon Musk-led effort to find cost savings across the government. Doug Collins, the VA secretary, initially claimed that they had identified $2 billion worth of contracts to cancel. Since then, they've said that, most of that money was actually already spent. So it's really only saving the government about $900 million canceling those contracts. But again, if the level of care, the expectation of care is not changing, but the level of resources to support that is going down, there are questions about where that leaves veterans.
Ben Siegel from ABC joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. The Trump administration, the DOJ department, has had really solid Republican support so far in their efforts to thin out the federal government. But is this kind of the third rail, the VA? Are they going to see some Republican pushback on this?
I think you're starting to see that. Jerry Moran of Kansas, the senator who's the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, put out a statement last night basically saying he supports, the mission of increased government efficiency, but that the VA is not going about this the right way. And you're starting to hear that from at least some Republicans across the federal government when it comes to certain programs that impact their constituents or that are important to their constituents. There are thousands of federal workers in almost every congressional district, too, who could lose their jobs, who are losing their jobs. So what we're seeing is that everybody supports the results of cost cutting, and I think, frankly, Democrats do, too. Many of them joined the DOGE caucus before Trump took office, but they just have issues with sort of the pace at which this is happening. We're really only 30 days in, and the Trump administration has effectively shut down one agency, the U.S. Agency for International Development, and canceled a bunch of contracts elsewhere. There are questions about how thoroughly they've been reviewing what goes on before they make these decisions. I'm sure that there will be even more pushback that Republicans will feel, and that they might in turn deliver to the Trump administration.
You might not be prepared to answer this, Ben, but on the heels of yesterday's breaking news from the Supreme Court when it comes to the USAID funding, might we expect legal challenges if the Trump administration goes ahead with laying off 80,000 Veterans Affairs workers?
I think so. I think we've seen that at every step of the way with DOGE, that we've had lawsuits filed by the workers' unions, by individual workers themselves, who say that the way that this has been done has not been legal. And we've seen DOGE at every step of the way clean up, mistakes that they've made in an attempt to comply with the law. So again, just given the pace at which they're moving, it stands to reason that this could be continuing to happen as we get further along this road. Another example of, something that they've had to clean up recently is that the way that they fired probationary workers was deemed to be illegal. The workers who, are in sort of this entry phase across the government with fewer protections for the first 1 or 2 years of their service. Last week, a federal judge ruled that they were actually fired in an improper way, that the agency that directed their firing was not legally allowed to do that. So rather than rehire these workers back, what the Trump administration has done is basically revise a memo that was sent out to agencies changing the language so that this agency in the White House was effectively not the one directing the firing, it was the agencies. So, that was the result of a lawsuit. That didn't result in anybody getting their jobs back necessarily, but there are lawsuits that we have seen and will continue to see that will challenge the ability for these workers to do their jobs and the ability for the Department of Government Efficiency and the efforts they're leading to change the federal government in this manner.
Ben Siegel, ABC News. Ben, great stuff. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
And again, I've reached out to Secretary Doug Collins to see if he can come on, but he addressed the concerns that folks might have when it comes to slashing the 80,000 workers at the VA yesterday.
While we conduct our review, VA will continue to hire for more than 300,000 mission-critical positions to ensure health care and benefits for VA beneficiaries are not impacted.
All right, so he obviously, Secretary Collins, thinks that these cuts will be okay. And that they're continuing hiring for critical positions. It would be the non-critical positions where those layoffs would occur. I'm not sure what those non-critical positions are, but obviously VA, I mean, there's bipartisan support. You see what Senator Ossoff has done for the VA, and I know Republicans fully support it. So a very big, interesting story that we will continue to follow here on 95.5 WSB. All right, news, weather, and traffic in less than 3 minutes. When we come back, wow. Russia-Ukraine talks are moving forward in the right direction, he says, with a question mark. We'll go to the White House. John Decker is going to get us caught up to date on the talks between Russia, Ukraine, the United States, and our European allies. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Top-notch physicians, top-notch facility, and breaking cutting-edge treatments to regrow your own natural hair. Mark Arum here, talking about, of course, my friends at Advanced Hair. Remarkable facility, great service, great medical professionals, and a great treatment to grow your hair back where it's currently gone. Quick, simple, one-day treatment, and your real hair begins to regrow the very next day. And even better, it's guaranteed to grow for life. If you want to get your hair back, now's the time, guys, and Advanced Hair is the place. Takes just one visit, but first, you need that free consultation. Schedule now. 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR, or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you get $250 off, plus 250 free grafts. Amazing. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Online at advancedhair.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. Let's take a look at your money. The markets are in the red this morning on a downward slide. The Dow down 521 points at 42,484. NASDAQ is also down more than 1.5%. The S&P is down almost 1.5%. Now let's talk about jobs. The number of Americans filing for jobless benefits falling as the labor market remains strong. Jim Ryan has the numbers.
22,000 first-time claims for unemployment benefits were filed in the week leading up to February 22nd. In the week after that, according to the Labor Department, filings declined by an almost identical 21,000. Tomorrow we get the employment report for all of February. It's expected to show that 170,000 jobs were created last month.
And speaking of jobs, there is a hiring freeze at Emory. The school is also reducing operational expenditures and assessing potential ramifications for research funding, as well as the taxation structure for the school's endowment. Medical and scientific research are significant components of the mission of the university, which includes 9 schools of undergraduate, graduate, and professional education there at Emory. All right, your weather for today, mostly sunny, breezy, and cool. Afternoon highs around 55, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A search for a missing Georgia woman's underway this morning at a South Carolina state park. Multiple agencies assisting the effort to locate 52-year-old Stephanie Womack of Temple, Georgia, which is near Villa Rica. She has not been seen since Monday night when her husband left their campsite at Table Rock State Park to get supplies, according to Pickens County, South Carolina Sheriff Tommy Blankenship.
Stephanie walked away from her campsite and has not been seen since then. Her husband and her son are up here with us now trying to help us in the search.
Now, search teams are using helicopters, as you could hear there, drones, and K-9 units as they search a wooded area near the North and South Carolina state line. A man on death row in South Carolina set to be put to death by firing squad. It is a rare method of execution here in the United States, but more states may be turning to it as lethal injection drugs become harder to get. 67-year-old Brad Sigmund is being put to death for the 2001 beating deaths of his ex-girlfriend's parents. Death row inmates in South Carolina can choose how they want to die or be given the default option, which is the electric chair. Stolen cars being resold with seemingly real registration documents, leaving the buyer with a car note but no vehicle. It's a story you'll want to hear if you're in the market for a car.
Over 20 cars have been recovered this year alone by undercover units in Chamblee. This officer informs an unwitting victim they must reclaim the car she thought she bought legitimately.
Criminals are good these days, so
no, please. That's, I would be. It's great.
Crooks produce fake VIN numbers with matching title documents in a scheme that can even fool car dealers. This undercover officer tells Channel 2 Action News it's not just the buyer losing out.
It's not just a stolen car. It's not just a property crime.
He says these types of crimes also drive up insurance rates and provide funds for thieves to engage in other criminal activity. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Well, we all know the price of eggs is soaring, and at the border, it's not just guns and drugs that agents are now looking for. They're also seeing an increase in people trying to smuggle eggs into our country. This border agent telling us,
we always are looking for any prohibited agricultural items such as eggs or avian products.
He says smuggled eggs could carry diseases like bird flu. All right, so let's get a check of the roads. Smiling Mark McKay joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Good morning, Sabrina. It's a slow ride out of Buckhead this morning. If you have to roll out of Buckhead toward Midtown downtown, I'd recommend Piedmont, Peachtree instead. 400 is all stacked up as you try to work your way from Lenox Road down past Sidney Marcus in construction in a left lane. That means only one lane open on that ramp from 400 south to 85 south. 75 south is slowing in northwest Atlanta due to some slow traffic around the 17th Street area. Looks like truck lost load, and part of that is the right lane that is knocked out on the west side perimeter, 285 south. MLK Junior Drive exit 9, delays at Hollowell Parkway, and slow coming out of the Cobb Cloverleaf. Looks like we have trouble on the outer loop 285 southbound past Cobb Parkway, exit 19. Smiling Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies today, breezy with a high of 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms down after sunset around 6:30. Temperatures will fall into the mid-30s for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy, highs in the mid-60s.
39 degrees in Alpharetta. It's 40 in Lawrenceville. Riverdale has 42 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Thursday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show live Monday through Friday, 9 to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole gang with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Your boy Blue screens them calls. Coming up in about 45 minutes, we're going to talk to David Welch from Bloomberg News. President Trump going to be meeting with some big-name CEOs. 11:20, make sure you're listening. This is awesome. Father and son team from here in Metro Atlanta. They're going to be on Shark Tank tomorrow night. Love a good entrepreneur story. They're going to be live in studio. In case you missed the first hour of the show, you missed a lot, including President Trump about to sign an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
We went in depth on that in the first hour. You can rewind the WSB radio app if you missed it. My thoughts, my predictions on what President Trump wants to have happen with not only the DOE, but the funding that the state of Georgia gets here. Right now, though, let's go up to the White House correspondent. John Decker joins us. John, as always, good morning, buddy. Thanks for your time. The Russia-Ukraine war still top of mind, the peace talks. European leaders will announce today a major increase in military support for Ukraine. What does that military support look like?
Well, what we know is what has already taken place just in the past few days. There's been a pause in military assistance, a pause in intelligence sharing by the U.S. with Ukraine. And that's the reason why the European Union feels it is necessary to step up their military equipment, their intelligence sharing with Ukraine to sustain Ukraine as it battles it out against Russia. And so that's going to be welcome news for President Zelensky. In the meantime, President Zelensky, as you know, taking those steps to repair that frayed relationship with President Trump. And based upon what I hear from various U.S. officials, he's doing all the right things after that disastrous meeting in the Oval Office last Friday.
Let's start with the U.S. pause in aid and intelligence to Ukraine. Do we have any idea how long this pause will last? And will it go away if everything comes together peacefully, if Zelensky can sign a rare earth mineral deal with the U.S.?
That's a great question, Mark. And what I've heard from the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, is yes, it could be short-lived, this pause. What they want to see, efforts on the part of President Zelensky. We know that apology that he issued to President Trump. He read part of that letter out loud at the address that he gave just the other night at that joint session of Congress. In addition to that, he indicated that he wants to sign that mineral rights deal that was supposed to be signed last Friday in the East Room at the White House. So he's taking those steps. And from what Mike Waltz has said, the fact that he's taking those steps are those confidence-building measures that could lead in the short run to lifting those pauses that we just spoke about in terms of military assistance coming from the U.S. for Ukraine.
We know how important that military aid is. and the pause there. What about the intelligence pause? Like how devastating would that be if this goes on to the Ukraine army, if they no longer have access to U.S. intelligence?
Well, that intelligence is so important just from a defensive point of view. When you think about incoming drone attacks launched by Russia on civilian areas, that intelligence is so valuable so that defensive measures can be taken to prevent a loss of life. The U.S. has provided those all-important Patriot missile batteries to Ukraine. With this pause in effect, that potentially could hurt the ability of Ukraine to defend those civilian areas from Russia attacks. So that's why it is so important. That's why that intelligence sharing that comes from the CIA, and we have a significant number of CIA officials on the ground in Ukraine. That's been the case for quite some time. They've been helping out the Ukraine military. They've also helped create new intelligence vacuums available in Ukraine to help out in terms of guarding against these attacks coming from Russia.
White House correspondent John Decker joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. Hearing whispers, I guess you'd say that if we continue to move closer to come to a deal with Ukraine, that if President Zelensky returns to Washington, he might be accompanied by the French president and the British prime minister, just to make sure everything goes smoothly the second time. Are you hearing that as well?
I am, and that would make a lot of sense in the sense that I think that sometimes that dynamic changes things. We saw just last week, the president got along very well with President Macron. He got along very well with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and President Zelensky gets along with both of those leaders as well. That change dynamic, I think, would be a marked improvement in terms of just having Zelensky meet one-on-one with the president once again, like we saw last Friday. They don't have the best relationship. It's certainly not that strong relationship that we saw on display last week with the UK Prime Minister and the French president.
John Decker, as always, great insight. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Zelensky and the EU leaders are meeting right now in Brussels. We're going to check in with CNN's Nick Robertson in just a little bit. Last night, I don't know what you had for dinner last night, Longoria. Is there a special Ash Wednesday dinner?
I had fish from Culver's. Yeah.
Oh, how?
Yeah,
oh,
the fish platter.
The platter is so good, and the fish sandwich. I got to tip my hat to Deborah Green, who is not as much of a food lover as you and I, but she tipped us off to Culver's delicious fish. Deborah, did you have a special Ash Wednesday dinner last night as well?
Yeah, Ash Wednesday, you fast.
Longoria, you're supposed to
fast.
All right.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. So surprisingly, I just ate leftovers yesterday. I had half of my tuna melt from Steamhouse Lounge, and Maya made some rice. So I didn't get the food delivery. But Deborah sent me a story today that you know me so well, Deborah, that if you get food delivered to your house, whether it's pizza, Chinese, Italian, whatever, you should always reheat it after it gets delivered. Deborah, why do experts want us to make sure we reheat these food deliveries?
Yeah, so unless you have lightning speed food delivery, anything that takes over 20 minutes, they're saying, especially if it's hot food, I don't know about cold food so much, but hot food gets into a danger zone of a heating. So infection is not the right word. Basically, if it's not hot enough, it gets dangerous to eat. You can get sick from it. Who knows how long it's been sitting at the restaurant before it got picked up, before it gets to your place. It might not even be, ideal to eat at that temperature, but you should always reheat your food to avoid any dangers kicking in from the danger zone of being not hot enough.
Interesting. So, listen, Maya, my wife, way smarter than me, she's been doing that. Like
my mother-in-law's too. I hate it. I'm like, we have to warm food.
Yeah.
But she's right.
100%. If I order food if I go home today for lunch and I order Uber Eats, I won't unless it's really cold. I'm like, oh, it's fine. But Maya's like, no, we're going to reheat it. Look at that. That's why she's a doctor, and I'm a schmuck. But thank you, Deborah, for saying. All right, so there you go. Reheat that food after it gets delivered to you. Even though I pay for expedited delivery on Uber Eats usually, because I don't want to wait. I don't want to see the guy go, oh, I got to go to Smyrna first to drop off this, and then. But, always reheat the food. All right, big meeting right now in Brussels between Ukraine and the European Union. We'll check in with Nick Robertson when we come back. Social media is active at Mark Arum, MarkArum, and at WSB Radio.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
All
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Hey, this is Scott Slade with a smart way to start 2025. Think back to work well for you in 2024, especially the service companies you use for your home or business. For me, that's Ragsdale Heating and Air. They've been in business nearly 3 decades, many employees there for 10, 20 years and even longer. I've been a customer for many of those years, and 2 words come immediately to mind when I think about the good people at Ragsdale. Caring and competent. It shows in all they do, whether it's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, or electrical. I've got their technicians stopping by twice a year for preventive maintenance, and that's a great time to take care of small problems like a clogged drain or the filter I forgot to change before they become big problems. And when it's time for a new system, Ragsdale stands behind their work with their trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty on new Carrier home comfort systems. As one of the most Google-reviewed HVAC companies in Metro Atlanta and a well-earned 4.9 rating, Ragsdale is the name I know you can trust. Go to ragsdaleair.com or call them. Ragsdale and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Stock up your fridge at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off Chobani yogurt, creamer, and plant-based milk with Prime through March 11th. Make a morning parfait or the perfect coffee with your favorite brands. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Ready to transform your outdoor living space? Welcome to SPF Screens and Awnings, the experts in outdoor screen and shade products proudly serving Atlanta. At SPF, we tailor solutions just for you. With our custom-built screens and awnings, you choose the material, color, and design to match your style. Looking for comfort and privacy? Our motorized screens keep the bugs and sun out while allowing the breeze in with the click of a button. With SPF, our seamless turnaround means you'll have your products in just a few weeks. And with our 5-year warranty on hurricane screens and 10-year warranty on screens and awnings, you know you're investing in quality that lasts. We even offer flexible financing. Elevate your outdoor area today. Transform your outdoor living with SPF Screens and Awnings, where comfort meets style. For a limited time, enjoy $250 off our motorized awnings and screens. Purchase any awning and receive a free LED light upgrade to enhance your outdoor experience with a perfect ambiance day or night. Visit sunprotection.com to schedule your free consultation. That's sunprotection.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. So put on earrings that make you sparkle, diamonds that light up the room, a modern heirloom you'll treasure. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
10:18 on the Mark Arum Show, checking construction delays in and out of Buckhead. Live with the latest. Smiling, Mark McKay.
Not fun at all, Mark. 400 is a jam leaving Lennox Road, trying to get past Sidney Marcus. Only a right lane getting by. Left lane construction on the ramp from 400 south to 85 south. We'll scan the jam cams in northwest Atlanta. Looks like new trouble popping up 75 southbound below West Bases Ferry Road. And travel advisory west side perimeter. Crews working in 2 right lanes, 285 south, the outer loop at exit 9 MLK Junior Drive. This report sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, it's Shaquille O'Neal. You're listening to the lyric dropping, traffic mopping, Hall of Fame gloating, drive time promoting. This is the Mark Arum Show. Deb Green hit my music.
Happy birthday, fan of the show, Shaquille O'Neal, Atlanta resident, 53 years old today. I don't know if you heard the music underneath. This was Shaq's first single. I forgot that he was a recording artist as well, 1993. It's called You Know I Got Skills. Deborah, how many Grammys did Shaquille O'Neal win with his first single in 1993?
Oh, at least 17.
17 Grammys. There you go. Happy birthday. I forgot about that drop. Can you play it again, Deborah Green? Longoria, can you play
Hey, it's Shaquille O'Neal. You're listening to the lyric dropping, traffic mopping, Hall of Fame gloating, drive time promoting. This is the Mark Arum Show. Deb Green hit my music.
Is Shaq the only person that get away calling you Deb Green instead of Deborah Green?
I will let that pass
right,
for sure.
Yeah.
I'll let Shaq call me that.
By the way, if you ever run into Deborah in public, please don't call her Deb Green. Call her Deborah.
It's not my
you
name.
can call me and Longoria whatever you want. But but just don't call unless you're Shaquille O'Neal. All right, welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Any moment now, the House is going to vote on whether to censure Democratic Representative Al Green, not the musician, the representative. He, of course, had to be escorted out during the president's speech the other night. So they're going to take a vote in the House. We will update you on that. Great stuff there from John Decker in D.C. about the Russia-Ukraine situation. Vladimir Zelensky, as John told us, is in Brussels right now, meeting with the heads of state of the European Union. Nick Roberts from CNN is in Brussels following it. Nick, what's the latest we're hearing coming out of these very important meetings?
Yeah, President Zelensky came and he gave that real debt of thanks that he said was really heartfelt from the Ukrainian people, that the Europeans were standing by them. He said, look, this is not just words. This really helps to have this support at the moment, support that is really felt that he needed after that bruising meeting at the White House less than a week ago. The second now summit of European leaders, different leaders this time. What they're talking about today is a massive, generational almost, shift in defense spending, and they're talking about how to finance it. Look, the reality here is that the White House can make really pretty instantaneous decisions on how much support they're giving to Ukraine. The European Union obviously is now looking to fill that, but they're also concerned at the European Union that because President Trump doesn't appear to have the same security commitments to Ukraine, they're worried those commitments to the wider European defense is also at stake. So they're standing up their own defense, but they just can't work as fast as the White House can in decision making. The tap that has to be turned on to get that defense procurement going is the money, and they're talking about $861 billion worth of funding, figuring out today, discussing how to get that funding, and this is even ahead of when they decide to spend it, what they decide to spend it on, how they sort of divvy up the money between the different European nations. So this is a step in a process, but this is a massive step shift in European thinking and European action. They are working with speed on this.
Nick Robertson in Brussels live, monitoring the meeting between the Russian president and the European leaders. Any big updates on the Russia-Ukraine war, we will bring them to you live here on WSB. And as I mentioned with correspondent John Decker at the White House last segment, I'm hearing that if Zelensky does come back to the White House, I mean, we all saw what happened last Friday, but if he comes back, he's going to have company with him, maybe a buffer. The Prime Minister of Britain and the French President Macron. They might be coming back with him to make sure that things don't implode again. But again, we're following the Russia-Ukraine war and the peace talks. I do want to update what's going on between Israel and Hamas. Israel press reports that say that direct talks between a U.S. envoy and Hamas leaders have ended positively. That's good. Our buddy Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
The press report said the talks focused on the release of a U.S. citizen and Israeli soldier, Eden Alexander, and the return of the bodies of 4 dual U.S.-Israeli citizens. While the Hamas spokesman said that President Trump's threats against Hamas were endangering the ceasefire, Egyptian sources said the talks in Qatar had ended positively, and there were hopes for an agreement on the second phase of the ceasefire. In a statement on social media, President Trump told Hamas to release the hostages or face hell.
Yeah, more on that social media threat from President Trump, warning Hamas to release the hostages. CBS's Deborah Pattis in East Jerusalem says Mr. Trump did not stop with his warning to Hamas.
He also warned the entire civilian population of Gaza that a beautiful future awaits them, but not if they hold hostages, adding, and I quote, "If you do, you are dead." Hamas has responded by saying that Trump's threats only serve to encourage Israel to disregard the terms of the ceasefire agreed to in January.
Now, I saw a story the other day, and of course I can't pull it up. I didn't have a chance to talk about it on the air, but Middle East leaders have met, coming together about coming up with a Gaza plan. All right, here it is. So Arab states have endorsed a $53 billion plan for the administration and reconstruction of post-war Gaza. The plan, which was unveiled by Egypt and discussed at the Arab League summit in Cairo, offers an alternative to President Trump's suggestion that America develop the enclave into the, quote, Riviera of the Middle East. Palestinians would not be forced out of the war-ravaged enclave under Egypt's proposal. That is exactly what I said is going to happen. Now, it says Egypt is leading the proposal, but $53 billion, a lot of tourists go to Egypt. They don't have that kind of money. The Saudis have that kind of money. So while President Trump wants to have the United States come in and take over the Gaza Strip, most likely post-war Gaza will be controlled by the Arab nations led by Egypt and Saudi Arabia. I want to get more on that plan. $53 billion plan for the administration and reconstruction of post-war Gaza. Seeing the pictures of Gaza, I don't think $53 billion is going to cut it. TBH. I think, right? It's devastated, man. It's rubble. But the Saudi, as I said, from day one, the Saudis are going to have to step up and make it happen. So interesting movement there in the Middle East. And maybe some positive news with the hostage talks with Hamas. All right. Elon Musk meeting with Republicans with the latest on Doge. President Trump is going to be meeting with some CEOs. We're going to check in with David Welch from Bloomberg News. When we come back, we'll update our top local stories. Hang tight. The Mark Arum Show continues next on 95.5 WSB.
Time changes, season changes. March is a busy month. Dave Baker here for Coolray. Now is the perfect time to get your heating and cooling system tuned up. Coolray will tune up your system for just $79 or get up to $2,250 in rebates on a new Carrier heating and cooling system that comes with the lifetime parts and labor warranty. Simply schedule your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Just pick the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy two, get two free and pay nothing until 2027. Offer ending soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
A
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-935-6077. 800-935-6077. 800-935-6077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's been used as a store of value for thousands of years. It's known as a safe haven asset in times of uncertainty. It's breaking record after record this year, and many economists are predicting it could skyrocket even higher. Of course, I'm talking about the precious metal, gold. Right now, thousands of Americans are looking to precious metals like gold and silver to diversify their savings. Even central banks around the world are stocking up on gold. Is it time you learn more about what precious metals can do for you? Visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD to learn more. Right now, the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, is offering a free gold and silver kit to arm you with the facts about how gold could potentially help safeguard your retirement. Visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD to get your copy of the 2025 Gold and Silver Kit free of charge. Plus, you could receive up to a 10% instant match on bonus silver for qualified accounts. Visit HannityGold.com or call 855-815-GOLD. That's HannityGold.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. Good morning. It is 10:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. This is new this half hour from Gwinnett County. We understand 2 juveniles have been arrested now for an armed carjacking in Duluth.
Presented some type of weapon to the victim and hijacked the motor vehicle while the victim was in the vehicle. So very, very dangerous crime, very aggressive. Luckily, no one was hurt.
That is Corporal Juan Marieto with Gwinnett Police. He says the carjacking happened. It was a stolen vehicle that was picked up by flock cameras on Ingram Road near Pond Road in Duluth on February 12th. When officers tried to pull them over, they took off, crashing that car, trying to run away on foot. The 2 teenagers, both under the age of 16, were captured by police. They've both been arrested and now face multiple charges. Your weather for today, mostly sunny, breezy, and cool. Afternoon highs around 55, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A busy section of East Ponce de Leon Avenue is going to be closed for much of the day so DeKalb County watershed management crews can do repairs to a sewer line there. The closure is from now until 7 o'clock this evening in the 700 block of East Ponce near the Avondale MARTA station. Motorists are advised to find alternate routes, including East College Avenue and Sycamore Street. Detour signs are in place to help reroute you around it. Of course, you can always rely on our 24-hour traffic center to help you out as well. Emory University announcing a hiring freeze this morning and other steps as it responds to directives and policy changes from the federal government.
In a letter to the Emory community, President Gregory Finvez outlines a number of measures the school is implementing due to the possible changes. In addition to the hiring freeze, the school is also reducing operational expenditures and assessing potential ramifications for research funding. Medical and scientific research are significant components of the mission of the university, and there are also possible tax implications for the school's $11 billion endowment. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, you got kids thinking about college. Here's a story you want to hear. Georgia high school seniors starting the process of applying for college can now save money on applications this month. Lynn Riley, president of the Georgia Student Finance Commission, says the application fee waiver will apply to more than 60 public colleges and universities here in Georgia.
Students that might be interested in multiple schools here in Georgia could save hundreds of dollars applying to a variety of colleges and then find out that there is a place for them to learn here in our state.
The Georgia Match program is meant to help more students pursue higher education. Riley also says keeping students here in Georgia helps the state's economy in the long run. A Metro Atlanta Police Department's launching a new public safety program.
The Kennesaw PD's new Public Safety Ambassador program is aimed at improving the efficiency and response time of the department while boosting city safety. The program is fully staffed with 3 PSAs and 1 supervisor. The trained and unarmed ambassadors help police with non-dangerous low-risk tasks, allowing full-time officers to focus on crime prevention, public safety emergencies, and major traffic issues. The Marietta Police Department rolled out a similar program back in 2017. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All right, more trouble for the restaurant industry, this time for an Atlanta-based casual dining chain On the Border Mexican Grill and Cantina, filing for bankruptcy protection after recently closing some 40 locations. Bloomberg reporting this morning that OTB Holding has been struggling amid surging labor costs, falling customer traffic and higher prices, but they're asking in their bankruptcy filing to continue to pay workers' wages and continue its customer rewards program. On the Border has more than 80 restaurants. Let's take a look at your money. We're in the red this morning. The Dow's down 247 at 42,758. So the Dow's down more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's down more than 1%, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smiler Mark McKay has a look at the roads.
And we're seeing red in northwest Atlanta, Sabrina. At times, all lanes are shut down. Police now letting traffic by this crash again in multiple left lanes of I-75 southbound past the Moores Mill Road exit 254. Rolling out of Cobb County, you're going to be in that brake light battle leaving Mount Perrin Road. Trying to work your way south toward Midtown. You can use Northside Parkway, Northside Drive as an alternate there, letting traffic go right now live on the jam cam. So we'll start to see improvement. Big jam out of Buckhead. This will last throughout the day. Road work on the ramp from 400 south to 85 south. Single file in a right lane there. Delays back toward Lenox Road, and West Side perimeters all stacked up. A couple of right lanes lost with work on 285 southbound. The outer loop at MLK Junior Drive exit 9. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms later tonight with lows dropping into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy and isolated rain shower possible, highs in the mid-60s.
42 degrees in Johns Creek. It's 42 in Decula. McDonough has 43 degrees. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job.
President Trump talking about Linda McMahon, head of the Department of Education, the future of the Department of Education, its impact in Georgia, and more tariff whiplash 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
Do you have uneven concrete surfaces like sidewalks, driveways, and patios? You need AquaGuard Foundation Solutions to come out and address the problem. AquaGuard can level those uneven surfaces and take away your worries. Schedule a free inspection today at aquaguard.net.
AquaGuard. Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
It's home show time. The Atlanta Home Show is Friday, March 7th through Sunday the 9th at the Cobb Galleria Center. The Atlanta Home Show, full of great deals, new ideas, and practical advice. Get your tickets online now at atlantahomeshow.com. Use Baker in the promo code and save 50%.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Critters creeping? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need
brighter bugs.
10:37 on this kind of chilly Thursday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Welcome back, friends. With you till noon. Coming up in just a little bit, David Welch from Bloomberg News going to join us live. President Trump meeting with CEOs. We're going to continue our in-depth coverage on the future of the Department of Education. And at 11:20, make sure you're listening, and please, can't wait. We're going to have a father-son duo here from the metro area. Young entrepreneur, 7 years old, and his dad. They're going to be on Shark Tank tomorrow. That's huge. That's coming up at 11:20. Deborah's got some Fandango tickets to give away in the final half hour of the show. Monitoring the breaking news I told you about there. I'm still not exactly sure what's going on, but the Republicans and the Democrats voting on the censure of Democratic Congressman from Texas, Al Green. He had that big outburst during the Trump speech, had to be escorted out. Manu Raju up on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, this is actually a vote that ultimately became a bipartisan vote. The vote was approved on a 224 to 198 vote. There were 10 Democrats who joined with all Republicans in voting for it. There were 2 Democrats who voted presidents. Now, we expect there's some. I'm told that Democrats are singing "We Shall Overcome" in the well of the Senate. Those are the House. Those are the Democrats who are opposed to what is happening here. We'll see what the Speaker ultimately does to that kind of protest that's happening. And the result of all of this, you're hearing the Speaker right there. As you can hear the Speaker trying to stop these House Democrats. Let's listen into this, Wolf.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Well, that is a pretty dramatic development there, Wolf. Typically, we had expected the House to actually go into have another vote in the aftermath of this one. So we'll see what the Speaker ultimately tries to do with this protest that is now breaking out on the House floor of some members of the House Democratic Caucus singing "We Shall Overcome" in the aftermath of this. But this is clearly divided some elements of the Democratic Party. That we saw 10 Democrats voting with Republicans to ultimately approve this measure. 224 to 198 was the vote to censure Al Green, which essentially is a public admonition. It's a way to say that the House disapproves of an action of a specific member. It really doesn't go beyond that. It used to be very rare that the House would take such an action, really only in the most egregious of offenses. But in recent years, it's becoming used much more commonly. And in the aftermath of what Al Green did on the House floor, Republicans made clear that they wanted to punish Al Green for his extended outburst and ultimate removal from the House floor during Donald Trump's address to Congress. But we'll see if the Speaker decides to do anything else to these Democrats who are now speaking out or chanting, it seems, on the House floor, if they're ultimately removed, or if the Speaker decides to take any action on them as well. Guys.
All right, Manu Raju there live on Capitol Hill. All right, so the vote to censure Al Green, 224 to 198, 10 Democrats voting to censure their own fellow representative. My hope is, and as Manu pointed out, censure is just like, hey, go to your room. There's no, you're not having dessert after dinner kind of punishment. There's, nothing is going to happen to him, but it's rare that it happens. My hope is, and I said this, the morning after the president's speech was, let's just stop with this. Let's stop acting out either party, because whoever's the president, the opposing parties, they've been childish since 2009. Maybe that the censure of Al Green, with 10 Democrats voting to censure their fellow Democrat, that this will, be a warning sign. Like, let's act like adults and not do this anymore. So again, if you're just joining us, breaking news: the House votes to censure Representative Al Green over the outburst during the Trump speech. The vote was 224 to 198. 10 Democrats, that's the headline, I think, voting to censure their fellow Democrat. 2 Democrats just voted present, and apparently there was Democrats are now singing "We Shall Overcome" on the, I don't know what's going on there, but just wanted to bring you that new development in the story there. Earlier in the show, we talked about the pause in tariffs from Jeff Gilbert, the automotive pause in tariffs for another 30 days between the United States, Mexico, and tariff. It's not just the automotive industry that are feeling the effects of tariffs. It's the liquor industry. A statement, Deborah Green, from the head of the manufacturer of Jack Daniels. What are the tariffs doing to Jack?
Well, they're basically saying that the tariffs are more manageable than Ontario removing all of their alcohol from the shelves. Because if you remember the other day, we heard from their premier of Ontario saying you're not going to be able to buy any American alcohol anymore. And so they stopped selling it. And Jack Daniels says you're basically eliminating all sales. We'd rather just pay a tariff. So like removing everything is worse than having to pay the tariffs. Ontario imports about $900 million in alcohol every year. Now, only a fraction of that is Jack Daniels, but that's going to go down to zero if they're not going to sell any of it.
And that's just Ontario. That's not all of Canada.
Right.
Wow. Look at, I guess they got to stay warm up there. Now, listen, I support Jack Daniels. Right. Jack and Coke is ubiquitous in these United States and apparently in Ontario as well. But maybe this is a good thing for Canadians. No Jack. I don't know about you. Everyone handles Jack Daniels differently. I don't drink it that often. I'm more of just a Scotch kind of guy. But I had buddies growing up that a Jack Daniels drunk was different than a beer drunk or a vodka drunk, right? They got one guy in particular. I'm not going to tell you his name, Solano. He would get violent when he would get drunk on Jack Daniels. I don't know. Have you ever met anyone that can't handle their Jack?
No, I've met people that can't handle their tequila, like cheap tequila.
Yeah,
Leslie,
I can't
handle her cheap
tequila. Interesting.
But Leslie was down in Jack at our wedding night. That first, she was taking shots right before the wedding.
The last shot of tequila I did I've done one in the last 25 years. It was at Judd's wedding. I did a shot of tequila off an ice sculpture with a priest.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm going out on top.
Yeah.
I'm never going to surpass doing a shot of Cuervo off an ice sculpture next to a priest. I just can't. I can't do it. Anyway, all right, interesting. No Jack on the shelves in Ontario, Canada. All right, monitoring our big stories. When we come back, we're going live to David Welch from Bloomberg News. We'll check the markets. And President Trump setting to meet with some high-level CEOs. In-depth coverage continues next on The Mark Arum Show.
News.
Atlanta police on the lookout.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
2 people are dead and 19 others are injured after a small plane crashed.
And when it breaks.
Johnson with 218 votes right now, and it appears that would be enough to get him reelected House Speaker.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's breaking news station.
So you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that works, but you want the best. It's Mark Arum here. Modern technology, top-rated physicians. You want something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results they produce. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, address them all with a simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough advanced FUE treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. Call 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. And don't forget to ask about that Advanced Hair Guarantee, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
Rapid radios are the coolest walkie-talkies. Now, Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk devices with nationwide coverage. It's amazing. 100% private, a great communication device for kids. There's no contract ever. Just visit their website. It's rapidradios.com. And for a limited time, just go to rapidradios.com and you'll get up to 60% off, free UPS shipping from Michigan, and a free protection bag. Add the code RADIO, you get an extra 5% off.
Heavy rain and severe storms have impacted our area again. How did your roof hold up? Hi, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show here. Water is your home's #1 enemy. I recommend you schedule a free roof analysis with my roofer, Findlay Roofing. The roof guys. Check your attic, ceilings, drywall, and chimney. Any dripping water, wet spots, or water streaks? If yes, think of Findlay first. Get peace of mind with no obligation and no charge. FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
So as we approach the spring, the weather's warming up, and it's the perfect time to get outside, enjoy your backyard. But what about turning your backyard into a year-round oasis with a Michael Phelps swim spa by our friends at Master Spas? Just head on over to masterspas.com, enter the promo code Hannity in the upper right-hand corner, and you could save up to $1,000 off your Master Spa. That can exercise, relax, recover, the only hot tub swim spa brand I trust. Masterspas.com.
10:50 on the Mark Aram Show. Checking delays around town. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Smile and Mark McKay.
Difficult down the west side perimeter at times. All lanes are shut down. Mark, right now, 2 right lanes lost with a crash on 285 southbound, the Outer Loop MLK Junior Drive. 285 delays stretching back to South Cobb Drive. This having a negative impact on I-20 East, which is jammed up, leaving Six Flags. This report sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, get an extra 5% off. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
On this vote, the yeas are 224, the nays are 198, with 2 answering present. The resolution is adopted.
There's the House Speaker as the House just voted to censure Democratic Congressman Al Green for disrupting President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress. 10 Democrats voted to censure their fellow congressman. Blue, if you can, see if we can get the list of the 10 Democrats that voted. I just want to know if any from Georgia voted to censure Al Green, a story that just popped here on 95.5 WSB. In the meantime, we continue our team coverage of the pause in automotive tariffs. Joining us live from Bloomberg News, he covers the auto industry, our buddy David Welch. David, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm confused. I'm getting tariff whiplash here. We have them, we don't have them. This isn't my lane of expertise, but I guess I am crediting the big 3 automakers for enabling President Trump to kick the can down the road for this pause. GM, Ford, Stellantis, are they why we have a pause in this tariff?
For the most part, yes. They've been in constant communication with the administration and with various lawmakers around the country, pushing to kind of hold these off. the Trump administration has a couple different agenda points with these tariffs. One is obviously to put pressure on Canada and Mexico over immigration, fentanyl, and also just more specifically with Canada, the trade imbalance and probably some mineral rights up there. I think that might be another thing. But the other one is that the Trump administration wants to get the car companies to build more vehicles here. And President Trump turning NAFTA into USMCA, which added more kind of local and regional content requirements to vehicles, it didn't really do much in terms of bringing auto plants or jobs back here. It did a little on the margin. So I think what we're seeing here is the companies have 30 days to kind of come up with something they can give the Trump administration that says they're going to invest more in the U.S. or move. I don't think they'd move a whole plant back, but maybe move some vehicles from Mexican production to one of their U.S. plants that's underutilized. They'll do as little as possible because it costs billions of dollars to move full factories and showing down there and relocate here.
So,
but that's what the Trump administration is looking for.
So, David, I mean, obviously it takes years to build new factories, new plants, and you can't do that in 30 days. So the Trump administration basically wants plans from the automotive companies to say, hey, we will in the future bring some manufacturing back to the United States from Mexico or Canada. So he just wants a commitment, a commitment from them.
Yeah, and I think we saw a few weeks ago, didn't Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, say that they were going to invest $500 billion in the U.S.? It was a big number. I think I have that right.
Yeah.
But those listening, don't hold me to that. But I think that's right. Look, in the case, take General Motors. They have their electric vehicle plant in Orion, Michigan, just outside of Detroit, that they've delayed the start of that plant. So that plant's doing nothing. They have another plant in Kansas that I think is pretty well underutilized. And, it does make, I think it makes small SUVs, but you could put more vehicles there. So could they move some vehicles from Mexico into this plant and hire more Americans to do that, potentially? I think there are things like that that could be done. But the big wild card here is, what will the Trump administration be happy with to cancel these tariffs and move forward, satisfied that the automakers are moving jobs, moving production to the U.S. and creating more of a workforce here.
David Welch, Bloomberg News, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Looking for clarification here, David, and I don't know if you can provide it. The pause on the tariffs, does that include parts? Because that's still very important. It does. Okay, so there's a 30-day pause.
There have been reports out there saying it does. And that would that's another big thing, because you take a lot of, you put 25% on some of these parts and it drives up the cost of the vehicle. Look, every car has something like 1.5 miles of wiring. It's called the wiring harness. And a lot of them are made in Mexico or in Asia because it's very labor intensive. No one has been able to automate it. And it's like $1,500 worth of wiring in every car.
Wow.
So, you slap a 25% tariff on there, there's a few $100, and then you have, a bunch of tariffs on other parts that are made in Mexico because they're also labor intensive. And, you can get to $3,000 in added cost on parts very quickly.
Final question for you, David. I want to localize this story if we can. Here in Georgia, the big plants, Kia, Hyundai, the fact that they are Asian-made automobiles, does that insulate the manufacturing here in Georgia from those tariffs, or do they still, the Kia and Hyundai plants, do they still get parts from Mexico and Canada?
I don't know exactly where they source them, but the supply chain these days is just so global and so diverse that I'm sure they're getting parts from Mexico, maybe some from Canada, and probably some from Korea as well. So, any increase in tariffs on auto parts is going to probably hit the cost of the vehicles made in those plants.
All right. David Welch, Bloomberg News. Fascinating stuff. Thanks for the insight, my friend. Obviously this will have a big impact on not just folks that work at the Kia and Hyundai plants, but folks that drive automobiles. If you take MARTA, you're fine. You take the, what is that, streetcar? I actually saw the streetcar, Longoria, in action.
Really?
When you and I went down to the Tabby for that concert.
Yeah.
It goes right by there. There was 2 people on the streetcar. Yeah, I was impressed.
Good for them.
Yeah, ridership is up. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. And when we come back, more in-depth coverage on the possible dismantling of the Department of Education and what that could mean to schools and students here in Georgia. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Breda knows how critical it is to protect the inside of your home, not just the outside, against bugs and critters. Termites, the most destructive pest of all. They literally eat your house. Hey, it's Mark Arum here for Breda Pest Management. I bet your termite company just walks around outside, checks bait stations, and says, hey, you're termite free. But are you? How can they claim that when they haven't even inspected inside? Only Breda protects your home from termites with a complete liquid barrier system, not just those bait stations. And only Breda's early detection process will thoroughly inspect your entire home with advanced infrared cameras. Wow. Breda is so confident they guarantee your protection and will lock in your termite rate for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. Get started at BREDApest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we know that convenience is key. That's why we've made mattress shopping simple and stress-free. Shop in-store or online, whatever works best for you. No high-pressure sales tactics or fake promotions. Our prices are clearly marked, and we openly compare our products to other brands. With our streamlined selection, you won't be overwhelmed by duplicate options, and our 365-day comfort policy provides for peace of mind. Experience the ease of buying factory direct. Visit OMF today for better sleep tonight.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, it's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey friends, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. All right, if you're in the car, we have a red alert. 285 on the west side is shut down. Let's go to Smile and Mark McKay. Commuters are not smiling this morning.
Not at all, especially if trying to get to the airport on the west side perimeter out of Cobb County, Sabrina. At times, all lanes are shut down. At times, 2 lanes are taken out. This is a crash cleanup, and they could very well shut the whole thing down again. Right now, they've opened up 2 left lanes, 285 southbound, the outer loop MLK Junior Drive, exit 9. Solid delays. That's a parking lot on 285 back to South Cobb Drive, exit 15. Take I-75 into downtown Atlanta if you're heading to the airport. It's also making a mess of those trying to leave Lithia Springs and I-20 East, all stacked up at Six Flags. Sabrina?
All right, thanks, Mark. And your weather for today, mostly sunny, breezy, and cool. Highs around 55, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. All right, if you got kids in school, this could impact you. President Trump expected to issue an executive order as soon as today, directing Education Secretary Linda McMahon to start the process of dissolving the Department of Education. Becky Pringle is the president of the National Education Association and says the federal government provides critical resources for schools.
The reality is that without those additional resources, without the additional educators, whether we're talking about teachers or counselors or bus drivers, we know how important that is too. That it is absolutely essential that in this moment that the Department of Education provides those resources for our students.
Now, completely eliminating the department would require congressional approval and 60 votes in the Senate, which is unlikely given the current makeup. The Secretary of Veterans Affairs is confirming mass layoffs in the department. It was reported that the VA plans to fire 15% of its workforce, about 70,000 employees. VA Secretary Doug Collins, who's from Georgia, confirmed the news on social media, saying that the federal government does not exist to employ people. He said he aims to be transparent about the process, but ended his message by warning, quote, "We'll be making major changes, so get used to it." An armed carjacking in Gwinnett County. 2 juveniles under the age of 16 have been arrested.
The 2 juveniles are facing multiple charges. They were taken to a detention center here in Metro Atlanta, but they're facing charges from aggravated assault to hijacking motor vehicle, armed robbery, all that occurred in the city of Duluth.
Corporal Juan Marieto with Gwinnett Police says the armed carjacking happened at the intersection on February 12th. The stolen vehicle later picked up by flock cameras
at the intersection on Ingram Road near Pond Road there in Duluth. There is a hiring freeze at Emory, the school also reducing operational expenditures and assessing potential ramifications for research funding, as well as the taxation structure for the school's endowment. Medical and scientific research are significant components of the mission of the university, which includes 9 schools of undergraduate, graduate, and professional education there at Emory. Let's take a look at the markets. We've been in the red all day. We still are. The Dow's down 128, 42,878. NASDAQ also down almost a full percent. The S&P's down more than 0.5%. Let's go back to Mark McKay with a look at the roads as 285 is not in good shape.
Struggling on that west side, Sabrina, for sure, and will continue until they get this crash cleanup out of the 2 right lanes. And at times to bring equipment in, they have to shut down all the outer loop lanes at MLK Junior Drive. So 285 southbound is a mess, leaving Smyrna Vinings on the brake lights hard now as you approach South Cobb Drive exit 15. Take I-20 east into downtown. I-20 east, though, at Six Flags is impacted as well, is because folks cannot make that smooth transition onto the outer loop. Coming out of Cobb County this morning, need to head to the airport, take I-75 south into the city. Extra heavy traffic, though, on 75 south now approaching Northside Drive. Construction delays, travel advisory out of Buckhead. Only a right lane getting by road work on the ramp from 400 south to 85 south. 400 is jammed back at Lennox Road. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies today, breezy with a high of 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms down after sunset around 6:30. Temperatures will fall into the mid-30s for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy, highs in the mid-60s.
43 degrees right now in Roswell, Tucker, and Carrollton. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I'll run this town to be near you.
11:04 on this fast-moving Thursday. Every day's fast-moving news-wise. Welcome back. Mark Airman crew with you till noon. In just a couple of minutes, in studio, local dad and son team. Young entrepreneur, 7 years old, and him and his dad are going to be on Shark Tank tomorrow, pitching their project. I'm very excited. They'll be in studio in just a little bit. We're monitoring the censure of Democratic Congressman from Texas, Al Green. Blue did the research. 10 Democrats voted to censure Al Green, but none were from Georgia. The other Republican congressmen and women from Georgia did vote to censure him, so we'll continue to monitor that. I want to talk about the story that we led off the show, and that is President Trump is signing an executive order that he hopes will dismantle the Department of Education. Here's President Trump talking about what he wants to do.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
All right, so the key quote in there is, I want the states to run the schools. Now, this should not come as a surprise or a shock to anyone. If you listen to President Trump, even before he got back on the campaign trail for a second term, he has said that he's going to get rid of the Department of Education. Now, whether he can do it or not remains to be seen. He needs congressional approval to get rid of an entire cabinet position, and he needs 60 senators, which would mean there'd have to be 7 Democratic defections. Probably not going to happen. But what he can do is slice and dice it up with DOGE. Now, I know a lot of folks listening now, your parents, your grandparents, your educators, you might be concerned about what happens if there's no more federal Department of Education. What I think is going to happen, and I know I'm rolling the dice and risking trying to predict what President Trump wants to do, but I think I've got a good beat on it. From what he said as a candidate and now as president, he wants to cut the bureaucracy out of the Department of Education at the federal level. And he wants, as he said in that audio cut, he wants to turn it back to the states. Let the states determine how to educate our kids. I broke down the numbers. In Georgia, last year, public schools, K through 12, the federal government sent Georgia $4.4 billion. That breaks down to $2,500 per student. That's from the federal government. State funding for Georgia schools, K through 12 public, was $11.1 billion, or about $6,300 per student. Local funding, right? Your city, Bremen City Schools, Marietta City Schools, Covington City Schools. That's where the bulk of the funding comes for schools. $12.4 billion last year in the state of Georgia, or a little over $7,000 per pupil. So the $4.4 billion, if that money goes away, each student will be shy $2,500 from last year. These are last year's numbers. I think what President Trump wants to do, he wants to slice and dice the Department of Education at the federal level. 4,400 employees work for the Department of Education, about 3,000 of them in D.C., 1,100 of them are spread out between 10 regional offices around the nation. What I suspect is going to happen is we're going to see most of them at the federal level lose their job. I think from 4,400 to less than 100 will keep their job. They have a $68 billion budget, by the way, the Department of Education. But I suspect that federal money that Georgia gets for education is still going to come to Georgia. I think we're still going to receive, if not that $4.4 billion, something really close to it. Because that is an important amount of money. I don't think President Trump wants to turn off federal funding for education. I think he just wants the states to be able to use that money how they see fit. Now, do you have trust in schooling here in Georgia? The superintendent of schools for the state, the superintendent of schools for your district, the principal, the vice principal, the boards of education. I predict, and again, I shouldn't do this, but I think that's what President Trump is aiming for. Just get rid of the bureaucracy at the federal level, but keep the funding that the government gives to each individual state. Again, it works out last year for every student. If you got a kid right now, the federal government provided $2,500 for your kid in education. I don't think that's going to go away. I don't know for sure. I think President Trump's goal is to take that money and give it to the states to use how they see fit. Now, will there be oversight? I have no doubt that we will handle that money judiciously. If that $4.4 billion comes to the state of Georgia, I think Georgia school systems will use it wisely. Some other states maybe not. There needs certainly to be some oversight. Make sure that money goes to education and not like, oh, we just got $4.4 billion. Let's everyone's income tax or everyone's homeowner tax goes. No, it should be for education. So I understand a lot of parents, grandparents, educators kind of freaked out by this because that's a big headline. Dismantling the Department of Education. That's a shocking headline. And I'll play the cut again. He wants Linda McMahon, the newly appointed director of the Department of Education, to be out of a job.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
There you go. I want the states to run schools. So I don't think, and again, I've been wrong before, but I know President Trump pretty well. I think a lot what's going on. And I think he's not going to turn off the federal funding because a lot of it goes to really important stuff, special education, really rural schools. They depend on that federal funding. Right, I mentioned a bulk of the funding for schools comes from local. Think of a small Georgia town with 250 people, 1,250 people. You know, like the one-room schoolhouse. How much money can those local residents raise for education? They need that federal funding. Same with inner city schools. So I hope and predict that the funding will still be there. It will be the bureaucracy that is sliced and diced from the Department of Education. All right, the House voted to censure Al Green for interrupting President Trump during the speech. We'll continue to follow that story. Right now, President Zelensky meeting in Brussels with European leaders, getting closer, we hope, to some sort of a ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine. A couple of big stories we're going to monitor there. When we come back, though, in studio, a pop and son combo from Metro Atlanta, 7-year-old kid and his dad set to be on Shark Tank tomorrow night. We'll talk to him live in studio about their project. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
Everyone has has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence, unless it's on the football field, where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, folks, it's Shelley Winter here. You know, sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you're ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, how's your HVAC system working these days? Is it keeping you warm? Kind of, maybe, not really. Like, oh hey, this must be how the meat and seafood feel at the supermarket. Castile Heating feels you. We want you warm and comfortable. Our same-day HVAC service will slap that chill into next year. And if it's a new installation you need, Castile's flexible payment options, warranties, and rebates will get your comfort situation going from frozen meats to freshly baked in no time. Book today at CastileAir.com.
The word Del Bar in Farsi means beloved, and that's what Del Bar Middle Eastern Restaurant is all about. Serving Mediterranean dishes from wood-fired grilled meats, seafood, and chicken to their iconic basmati rice. Del Bar is an unforgettable experience.
I'm Faris Kargar, and I'm the owner of Del Bar Restaurants, and I personally invite you guys to come in and experience our Persian hospitality to capture your heart and enjoy a memorable experience.
See what the buzz is all about. Visit one of their 3 Michelin Guide recommended Del Bar restaurants. Google Del Bar Atlanta today.
11:17 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking trouble on I-285. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. It's that lingering travel advisory crash cleanup, 285 southbound, the outer loop past Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit number 9. They're in 2 right lanes. You're stacked up back to South Cobb Drive. Might want to head through downtown as an alternate. Now we got a travel advisory in Marietta. Crash, 2 right lanes, 75 southbound, Windy Hill Road, exit 260. You can use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and for UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Bunker. No, let me tell you something, Mr. Stivic. You are a meathead. What did you call me? And meathead.
Meathead, perhaps the greatest nickname in sitcom history. Happy 78th birthday to Rob Reiner. He's been on the Mark Arum Show, as did his father, Carl Reiner. 78 years old today. He did better as a director than an actor, but he was the classic meathead in All in the Family. It was great to have him on the show. Great to have our next guest on the show, live in studio. I am so enamored by this story. A local father-son team joining us in studio, David and Ethan Sanborn from Alpharetta. And first of all, you guys are amazing. Thanks for coming in. Ethan, you're welcome for being able to ditch school today to come in on the Mark Arum Show. I love this story so much because you are a father-son entrepreneur team, which alone in itself gets my attention. But tomorrow night, you'll be on Shark Tank. I'm going to start with you, David. What is the company that you and Ethan founded? What's it all about?
So the company is Kid Coffee, the world's first coffee for kids.
Now, I saw that and I was like, my mom let me drink coffee as a child, but that was abnormal. Is this legitimately coffee for kids?
It is truly coffee in Kid Coffee, but that's not the whole story. So Kid Coffee is water-processed decaffeinated coffee, which, believe it or not, has less caffeine than cocoa powder. So
okay,
if you think of chocolate milk, like in every public school, or hot chocolate, Kid Coffee can actually have less caffeine than those products. But no, the flavor of coffee, it's not abnormal that kids, especially of coffee drinkers, are interested in their parents' coffee.
Because it smells so, like, that's one of the first memories I have from childhood is my mom, with the old drip brewer brewing coffee. I'm like, gosh, that smells so good. Let me have some. No, you're a kid. So who came up with the idea? Ethan, did you come up with the idea or did your dad come up with the idea?
Yeah, I did.
You did? All right. So how did it happen? You saw your dad drinking coffee in the morning. You said, I want some?
Kind of.
Kind of? Dad, how did it go down?
Yeah, I mean, Ethan, how did the story really, this is truly like a culmination of events because Kid Coffee is not just coffee either. Kid Coffee is mixed into milk. So it's truly actually a nutritional product as well.
Oh.
So Ethan, tell us how did it actually?
So I broke one of my legs, and then I broke my other leg.
Oh my gosh. Well, before you finish the story, how did you break your legs? Skateboarding or mountain climbing? Wrestling?
So first, at my grandma's house,
yeah,
I did like a spin jump thing.
Okay, yeah, I do those.
And spinal fractured it.
Oh my goodness. And the second time?
And the second time I was on my bike and I dropped the bike on my leg. And
no!
And I spinal fractured it.
All right, so you break your legs twice, and you feel like, oh, I need to take the edge off. I need coffee. Is that why you invented this?
Not exactly. So I did like the taste of coffee in milk.
Okay.
So, and I wanted to start like a little business or like a lemonade stand.
Yes.
And I also wanted, like, my dad's coffee.
So he approached you and said, Dad, let's do something?
So, yeah. So the culmination of events are we started looking at Ethan's nutrition, believe it or not. So
okay.
Interestingly, right, especially my wife is like, you can't break two opposite, different bones, not the same bone. And what we found out was actually pretty shocking, actually. Like, there's national health surveys on this, but kids aren't getting enough calcium anymore based on national surveys.
Okay.
right, 63% of kids between the ages of 9 and 18 get below the minimum amount of calcium per day.
Okay.
And so milk, right? Dairy or plant-based. Plant-based is usually fortified, right? But it's an easy way to get your kids calcium. And Ethan, of course, when he originally liked the taste of coffee, we're like, you can't have my coffee every day or something like that. So I started making a water processed decaf and then adding
Look
in
at you.
vitamins, minerals, so vitamin D,
So
calcium.
how long ago was that where you started messing around in the kitchen?
So Ethan broke his second leg, and I think it was July of 2023. I think
Okay.
he broke his second leg, and he was sitting around, with a cast, and I started working on the actual product just for him, and then it was like kind of a culmination because my youngest, I have a now 4-year-old.
Okay.
But was 3 at the time. He started to get a taste of it and loved the taste of it.
So that's July of 2023. When did you actually start manufacturing, or have you not started that process
No,
yet?
we have. So it took. We worked with like a professional formulating company for a vitamin mineral blend to get
Okay.
something that actually was manufactured. Once Ethan said, "Hey, did I really want to try this as a business?" And I have a background in product formulation and product development.
excellent.
So
Okay.
definitely helps. Yes. But no, we shipped our first products in the end of March of 2024. So,
Wow. That's
yeah.
a quick turnaround. That's phenomenal. All right, so it's Kid with 2 eyes, Kid
Kid with 2
Coffee.
eyes, yeah.
Is it in a can? Is it in a bottle? How Longoria's got 2 beautiful daughters. He wants to get them Kid Coffee. How is it served? Do you have to brew it? What's the deal?
No, so it's an instant powder formulation, just like
Okay.
a hot chocolate you'd think right now,
Okay.
or a protein powder mix, something like that. So yeah, it's a powdered form. It comes with a little scooper. One serving goes into the easiest way to do it is like an ounce of hot water, stir it up, let it dissolve, and then top it with cold or hot milk. You can serve it both ways, right? As it's kind of an iced coffee,
Okay.
or a warm or hot coffee.
And is it delicious, Ethan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like it? It tastes
Yeah.
good? Now, is it illegal for me to have Kid Coffee?
It is not.
I need more calcium.
We have quite a few adults, believe it or not. That's
Yeah.
also one of those things in national surveys is that adults, if you're looking at a multivitamin, a lot of times they don't have that much calcium.
Yeah.
They have all the vitamins. So yeah, we actually do have quite a few, grandparents that are like, well, I buy it.
As long as it's delicious. David and Ethan Sanborn from Kid, Kiid Coffee, in studio here in the Mark Arum Show. Ethan goes to Dolvin Elementary in Alpharetta. Wants to shout out his teachers and his friends. Let's go to Shark Tank. So no spoilers. You're going to be on tomorrow night. How did that occur? How did you wind up getting on Shark Tank?
So they just found us.
Oh, they found you. That's got to make you feel really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's we can't get into like how the whole process works, but they did contact us first, and I think it's certainly a testament to this story, right? It's not like this is truly how it worked out, and Ethan is truly the founder of the company, and me being an entrepreneur in the past, I actually wanted to figure out a way for him to learn those things that he's not going to learn in school, like entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I've said it so many times. I love that entrepreneurial spirit. All right, so final question: Where is Shark Tank filmed?
Shark Tank is filmed in Los Angeles.
So you got to fly in a plane, Ethan?
Yeah.
How did you have peanuts on the plane? Did you have coffee, or did you bring a Kid Coffee on the plane?
I think we did bring a little bit of Kid Coffee.
All right.
On
Excellent.
the way there, I was eating lots of candy.
Lots of candy. Same, buddy. All right, so tomorrow night, Shark Tank on ABC. We'll find out if the shark takes a bite out of Kid Coffee. So proud of you guys, David and Ethan Sandberg. Tell the folks where we can order Kid Coffee right now.
Kidcoffee.com. That's KIID coffee.com. And
right.
we also have product available on Amazon and some retailers around Atlanta, some coffee shops. Heirloom
Awesome.
Donuts down south of the city. Yeah, they've stocked quite a bit. So.
All right, and you brought in some for us, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, good. All right, thanks. Best of luck tomorrow night on Shark Tank, Ethan. I'll be watching, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, news, weather, and traffic next on the Mark Arum Show, 95.5 WSB.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man. High five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand, 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it MILEND. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
As a trucker, I know how challenging these last 4 years have been. I'm Congressman Mike Collins, and I've been hitting the road listening to Georgians across my district. Please know that help is on the way, and follow along at collins.house.gov.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Hey, this is Congressman Mike Collins. I'm fighting every day for America First policies in Washington, and I want to hear from you about how we can make our country better. Reach out at collins.house.gov and let me know.
Paid for with official funds from the Office of Representative Mike Collins.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. This just in, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying that the president will likely suspend the 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico for most products and services for a month. That broadens the exemption that was granted Wednesday only to automobiles. In an interview on CNBC, he said that it's estimated that more than half of what the U.S. imports from those two countries would be eligible for the exemption. Your weather for today, it's going to be mostly sunny, breezy, but cool. Afternoon highs only around 55, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A busy section of East Ponce de Leon Avenue is going to be closed much of the day, so DeKalb County watershed management crews can do repairs to a sewer line. The closure is going on now. It will be going on until 7 this evening in the 700 block of East Ponce. Near the Avondale MARTA station, motorists are advised to find alternate routes, including East College Avenue and Sycamore Street. Detour signs will be in place to help reroute drivers around that area. Now to Gwinnett County. 2 juveniles have been arrested for armed carjacking in Duluth.
He presented some type of weapon to the victim and hijacked the motor vehicle while the victim was in the vehicle. So very, very dangerous crime, very aggressive. Luckily, no one was hurt.
According to Corporal Juan Marieto there with Gwinnett Police, he says the carjacking happened on February 12th. The stolen vehicle was picked up by flock cameras on Ingram Road near Pond Road in Duluth. When officers tried to pull them over, they took off, crashing the car, then trying to run away on foot. They were captured, and both teenagers are now arrested and facing multiple serious charges. President Trump is warning Hamas to release the hostages it still holds in Gaza, or there will be, quote, hell to pay. The threat was made in a social media post on Mr. Trump's Truth Social platform. CBS's Deborah Patta in East Jerusalem this morning says Hamas responded by saying Israel is in violation of the ceasefire agreement signed this past January.
Israel has already cut off all aid to Gaza in a bid to force Hamas to accept an alternative agreement which would delay talks on ending the war but still allow for...
Updated from under the Gold Dome. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits fell more than projected last week. Initial claims dropping by 21,000 to 221,000 for the week that ended March 1st. That was below projections of the 235,000. All right, let's take a look at the markets. We're in the red. The Dow currently down 107 at 42,898. NASDAQ is also down a full percent, and the S&P's not far behind. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather, brought to you by Finley Roofing. Here's Alex Williams.
It's a mess over on that west side outer loop, Sabrina. Crash cleanup still in 2 right lanes, 285 southbound, the outer loop past Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Exit 9, you were very slow back to South Cobb Drive. You can head through downtown, 75-85 south as an alternate. Now, Cobb County, we had a crash, was in 2 right lanes. They got that to the right shoulder, 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road, exit number 260. So now it's all about the recovery mode for that traffic, 75 southbound out of Marietta, slowing right now at North Marietta Parkway, but will start to improve. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 55. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. The wind calms later tonight with lows dropping into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 66. Saturday, mostly cloudy, an isolated rain shower possible, highs in the mid-60s.
It's sunny and 44 degrees in Brookhaven, 43 right now in Alpharetta. In Chamblee, you have sunshine and 44 degrees. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Aram, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go, 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
On this vote, the yeas are 224. The nays are 198. With 2 answering
That's the sound of Speaker Mike Johnson. Congress censoring Representative Al Green. Will continue to cover that and the future of the Department of Education. All of that next on the Mark Aram Show.
Your roof has been working overtime lately. Heavy rain and severe storms have impacted our area again. So how did your roof hold up? Hey, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show here. Water is your home's #1 enemy. Heavy rain and severe storms like we've had recently can expose roof leaks and lead to water damage. I recommend you schedule a free roof analysis with my roofer, Finley Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof is leaking or damaged, it's possible that you don't even see any signs yet, but you could see water inside. Look around, check your attic, ceiling, drywall, and chimney area. Do you see dripping water, wet spots, or water streaks? If yes, think of Finley first. Finley Roofing is locally owned and operated. They always follow the golden rule to treat you right, and I trust them in my home. You can trust them too. Get peace of mind with no obligation and no charge. Schedule your free roof analysis at finleyroofing.com.
Roof. Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-935-6077. 800-935-6077. 800-935-6077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2. Ox, camel, and a
I have just posted on X, Twitter, a picture of David and Ethan Sanborn and a link to Kid Coffee. After the show, I'll do it on all my social medias at Mark Arum. But how cool is that? KidCoffee2eyes.com. They'll be on Shark Tank tomorrow. I tell you what, Deborah, I tried to get off the record because they have this, really tight non-disclosure agreement with Shark Tank. And I said to David, I was like, you can tell me. He's like, no, I can't tell you. Like, I want to know.
Yeah, if they got it, yeah.
No, nothing.
Yeah, nothing out of him. I was like, all right, it's all right. I'm going to watch it anyway tomorrow. But that's pretty cool. Very cool stuff. So I'll post it on my social medias, but it's up on Twitter now at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Updating the possible dismantling of the Department of Education. This is Becky Prindle. She is president of the National Education Association.
We have still work to do to address the inequities that are built into public education and every social system in this country. And the department is responsible for overseeing so many of the programs that try to get at it. Whether we're talking about our students who live in poverty, our students with disabilities, our students who have been marginalized historically.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, completely eliminating the department would require congressional approval and 60 votes in the Senate, which is unlikely given the current makeup. Perhaps they will just slide some of the responsibilities of the DOE to other departments. We'll see what DOJ gets in there. But then, as we found out yesterday with the Supreme Court, there's going to be court challenges to anything that goes on with President Trump and DOJ. So, but obviously a really big story worth following. All right, how about a school story in Georgia? I'm actually really excited about this. We've been covering certain schools, certain school districts, trying out a cell phone ban. Deborah Green, correct me if I'm wrong. It's possible that we could someday see a statewide ban on cell phones in schools.
Yeah, they're hoping to pass this bill, House Bill 340. It's calling it bell to bell, no cell. So anybody under 8th grade, it doesn't apply to high school students, but kindergarten through 8th grade, no schools, any school throughout the entire day. A couple of school districts have already done this, and they have provided a lot of positive feedback from the students, the teachers, and the parents. So if that's going so well, they're saying, why not do it statewide?
Bell to bell, no cell? That's a pretty catchy...
Yep, bell to bell, no cell.
Yeah, Longoria, you're the parent here.
Yes.
So I'm going to weigh heavily on you. Your daughters, are they of cell phone holding age?
They are, but the cell phones that they have right now don't have service, like cell phone service.
Gotcha.
They can use Messenger and look up videos and stuff like that.
Are they allowed I should be asking your wife because you probably don't know.
Right,
But are they allowed to have their cell phones
I believe
in school?
my oldest daughter takes hers to school, but she does not use it. She
Okay.
just has it there sometimes as a, if she has
Sure.
some downtime or whatever, but she's not supposed to be using it.
Would they freak out if they can't bell to bell, no cell? Do you think that?
No, because
they're not there
now
yet.
if you told them bell to bell, no home, they're going to freak out because they
Gotcha.
can't use it at home. But during school hours, they shouldn't be using it anyway.
Have you seen, Deborah, White Lotus yet this season, the first 3 episodes?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't watched it, no.
Well, I'm not going to give you a spoiler, but it takes place at a resort in Thailand, and it's like this, yoga, like health resort, like nowhere would I would go. Like it's just, there's nothing. But anyway, there's this family from North Carolina that goes there, and the father and the son are literally addicted to their cell phones. And they have a no cell phone policy at this resort, and they're like, hell no. They paid thousands of dollars, and the counselor or whoever's in charge is like, all right, well, just don't use them in public areas. Like, you can use them in your room, but don't use them in the restaurant or the lobby. But the dad can't stop. I mean, he's got legitimate reasons to be on his phone. I'm not going to tell you why. But he's at dinner, and the phone is buzzing, and his daughter's like, Dad! And he's like, and he has to run outside off campus to use the phone. They're addicting. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with kids and cell phones, because if we had bell to bell, no cell in WSB Radio Land, I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
No, not possible.
You're just as bad as my girls.
No, I'm worse. 100% worse. Yeah, I'm 100% worse.
They act like I'm taking away food and water when I take it away from them.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's a good thing that it would be a statewide, because I think, speaking of education, we want better numbers across the board. Get that distraction. It's a distraction, man. It's a total distraction. Get it away. Don't have the kids be tempted to be looking at the cell phone while the teacher's trying to impart wisdom. Sell to sell, no bell. How can you go wrong with a?
That's a cool slogan.
We need Dave Cohen to come up with a jingle for that, right? He's our jingle guy at the station. Bell to bell. No, anyway. Update on the lunar landing. We've been covering this story pretty heavily on the show. Intuitive Machines lunar lander IM-2 Athena will attempt to touch down on the moon today. CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood's following.
Intuitive Machines Athena Moonlander and the Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost that landed earlier this week were both developed as commercial ventures, but both were funded in large part by NASA. It was done through a program that's encouraging private companies to develop spacecraft that can carry NASA payloads to the moon to collect data needed before astronauts land near the South Pole in the next few years. Both companies are developing follow-on landers that'll launch on a regular basis over the next few years.
I've been following this. Speaking of phones, the algorithms. I tell you what, man, the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook, etc. They know you better than your family does. As much as Maya and I know each other, Instagram knows me better than anyone in the world, and they keep sending me these Mars conspiracy theory videos about life on Mars.
Right.
And it's. I mean, I know I know it's probably not true, but they're like redacted photos from the Mars lander. Like there's structures you could see. There's structures there, and there was. And this one guy's like, well, they're hiding it because if there's proof that there was life on Mars, all organized religion's gonna collapse. Because and I was like, well, all right, whatever. Just give me more of that stuff. Speaking of mythical creatures,
okay,
the Loch Ness Monster.
Ooh, yeah.
Remember that? That was big
yeah.
when we were
I still
kids.
believe that.
We don't really hear about much about it, but Deborah tells me that if you are a Nessie fanatic, you might be able to get hired to search for Nessie. What do they need? A Nessie gatekeeper, a game warden, Deborah? What's this Loch Ness Monster job that's become available?
They're calling it a full-time Loch Ness Monster hunter. So, I mean, you do get to go to Scotland, right? You get to hang out in Scotland, and then you get to use, like, deep scanning equipment. You get to hang out in the water all day, and you get to look for the Loch Ness Monster. It's a full-time job.
What does it say how much it pays?
It does not. It just says they're looking for a full-time job.
It's
for a
perfect
Nessie
for you,
hunter.
fishing. You could just be out there fishing.
I'm trying to
looking
think
for Loch Ness.
if I could.
I'm just fishing every day.
Looking for Loch. I'm trying to think if I could do the show with the time change and search for Nessie and live
It's
in
5 hours ahead over there.
Yeah, that's not going to work out. Dagnabbit. All right. Anyway, if you're a Nessie fanatic, there's a job for you in Scotland. Let's give away some prizes here. Deborah, I'm going to handle this. We have 2 codes from Fandango to see the film Mickey 17 in theaters March 17th. Wanting to get off Earth, the financially destitute Mickey Barnes, I think we can all relate to being financially destitute. He signs up to be an expendable, a disposable clone worker on the human colony of Niflheim. As an expendable, Mickey undertakes several dangerous assignments. He is not expected to survive, with a new body being regenerated each time he passes away. That sounds like something right up my alley.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the 12th caller to 404-872-0750. 12th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of codes to see the film Mickey 17 in theaters March 17th, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. I thought it was a Mickey Mouse film, to be honest, when I saw the title. I was like, oh,
that makes sense.
Mickey turned 17. What's the birthday after the quinceañera? Or 2 birthdays after the quinceañera? I'm not going to have you translate.
I put up Deborah so she can say.
All right, well, Deborah, what's the 17th birthday called?
17.
There you go, 17. All right, 12th caller, Blue. Quick break. We'll come back, going to Brussels, updating the Ukraine peace talks next on the Mark Arum Show.
Morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, picture this. 10 of the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design with their entire assortments, not on a website, but right in front of you, ready to see, feel, and try on. And no matter what you choose, you'll get up to $3,000 off in event-only savings or 0% APR financing for 3 years, March 21st through 23rd in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
It's home show time. It's right around the corner, and it's going to be great. The Atlanta Home Show, Friday through Sunday, March 7th through 9th at the Cobb Galleria Center. 3 days only to shop, compare, and save with over 200 trusted local experts all under one roof. From kitchens and baths to flooring and more, inside and out. Don't miss Georgia's largest home show. Get your tickets now at atlantahomeshow.com. Use Baker in the promo code and save 50%. That's the Atlanta Home Show, March 7th through 9th at the Cobb Galleria Center.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in AMCO just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to AMCO.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned AMCO near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, 80% lean Kroger brand ground beef is on sale. 3-pound packages are only $4.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. A few years back, there was a surge of online mattress companies offering a one-feel-fits-all mattress. Eventually, they all added more selections. Why? They discovered what we've known for over 30 years. Everyone has unique preferences. At the Original Mattress Factory, we handled a range of comfort choices so that you can select the one that suits you best. Don't rely on someone else's opinion. Try out a variety of options and find the one that's right for you. OriginalMattress.com.
Get ahead of your spring cleaning this month and call the pros at Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust, pollen, and debris from your home. Take advantage of Zero Res's spring sale going on now. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. That is right, $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Just tell them I sent you, or use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
11:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking trouble on I-285. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Yeah, long-standing crash cleanup with this travel advisory continues in 2 right lanes. 285 southbound, the outer loop, just past Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. You're jammed up from South Cobb Drive. It's also got I-20 eastbound the West Freeway. Very slow, starting just past Thornton Road, exit 44. You got that construction 400 southbound coming out of Buckhead toward Midtown. Left lane blocked on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. Again, causing those delays out of Buckhead starting just south of Lennox Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
And that's the way it is. Friday, March 6th, 1981. I'll be away on assignment, and Dan Rather will be sitting in here for the next few years. Good night.
Ready to feel old, folks? That was Walter Cronkite signing off from CBS Evening News 44 years ago today. Holy smokes, March 6, 1981. I remember that, watching it as a kid. CBS News is what we watched every evening in the Arum household, and Walter Cronkite. And I remember, like, that was truly an end of an era. But that, goodness gracious, 44 years ago, Walter Cronkite signed off from the Evening News from CBS 44 years ago today, March 6, 1981. I feel super, super old right now. We've been all over the globe today. We went to the White House earlier to get an update from White House correspondent John Decker on the big talks going on right now in Brussels between President Zelensky and European leaders. Let's check in Brussels. Nick Roberts from CNN is there this morning.
Yeah, President Zelensky came and he gave that real debt of thanks that he said was really heartfelt from the Ukrainian people, that the Europeans were standing by them. He said, look, this is not just words. This really helps to have this support at the moment, support that he's really felt that he needed after that bruising meeting at the White House less than a week ago. The second now summit of European leaders, different leaders this time. What they're talking about today is a massive, generational almost, shift in defense spending, and they're talking about how to finance it. Look, the reality here is that the White House can make really pretty instantaneous decisions on how much support they're giving to Ukraine. The European Union obviously is now looking to fill that, but they're also concerned at the European Union that because President Trump doesn't appear to have the same security commitments to Ukraine, they're worried those commitments to the wider European defense is also at stake. So they're standing up their own defense, but they just can't work as fast as the White House can in decision making. The tap that has to be turned on to get that defense procurement going is the money, and they're talking about $861 billion worth of funding, figuring out today, discussing how to get that funding, and this is even ahead of when they decide to spend it, what they decide to spend it on, how they sort of divvy up the money between the different European nations. So this is a step in a process, but this is a massive step shift in European thinking and European action. They are working with speed on this.
Yeah, really important story. Nick Robertson there in Brussels this morning. Just seeing this breaking news come across the ticker. President Trump has suspended most Mexico tariffs until April 2nd. So we've been telling you about the pause in automotive tariffs, but now President Trump has suspended most Mexican tariffs until April 2nd. Thoughts and prayers for Deborah Green that avocados, the tariffs on avocados from Mexico are tariff proof now, at least till March, till April 2nd or whatever the date I just said. So right coming up to Easter. All right, so good tariff news there. Again, maybe these are just negotiating ploys. Thankfully, you won't have to have tariffs, or in fact, you don't have to buy Yeezys ever again. Adidas said it sold its last pair of Yeezy sneakers.
This completes a liquidation after the Adidas partnership with Kanye West soured more than 2 years ago over his anti-Semitic rants. Ads made much of the deal with West in 2013. It was valued at over $1 billion. Termination of it impacted the company's bottom line by more than $246 million. Now, the Adidas chief financial officer, Harm Ohlmeyer, says there's not one Yeezy shoe left. It has all been sold, and he says that episode is behind us. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Wow, Adidas got out early. They got out before those swastika shirts went on sale at, I never want to talk about Kanye West ever again. Sorry if you missed the boat on the Yeezys. They're all sold out. They're all gone. Even third world countries are like, no, we're good. We don't need your Yeezys.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, it's National Oreo Cookie Day today.
Ooh.
Know that? And did you know that Oreos used to be sold by weight, costing 30 cents per pound?
Oh, what a deal.
Yeah, double stuff Oreos are not actually double the filling, but they're only 1.86 times larger than the regular Oreos. And men and women eat Oreos differently, with 84% of men eating them whole.
I do.
And compared to 41% of women who twist them in half.
Maya brought home a box of lemon Oreos. Thin lemon Oreos.
Those are the best.
I'm in cookie jail with Maya. She brought home a couple of weeks ago, I told you, the Girl Scout cookies. And I housed 2 complete boxes of Thin Mints. And Maya was none too happy. So I was like, I'm not even going to touch your lemon thin Oreos. But National Oreo Day. Fantastic. Speaking of cookies, one of our stars of the show provided us with boxes of Girl Scout cookies today.
Are you guys ready for the Mark Aram star of the show?
Where's my bell? Did I go the whole show?
No, it's right there. It's right there.
Way over here.
Yeah.
WSB meteorologist Christine Edwards brought in like 50 boxes of Girl Scout cookies.
Where are they? I didn't see them.
They're all gone now. But she's like, hey, everyone take some. So she gets a star of the show. I had a half a sleeve of Thin Mints. So thanks, Christina. She gets a star of the show. Other stars of the show, Jeff Gilbert, automotive reporter for WWJ in Detroit, Michigan. He gets a star of the show. White House correspondent John Decker, David Welch from Bloomberg News. How about Ethan Sanborn and his dad, David? Kid Coffee, Kiid Coffee. They're local from Alpharetta. They'll be on Shark Tank tomorrow night. Best of luck for them. Ben Siegel from ABC talking about the VA cuts. I'm not going to give one. I threw to the wrong traffic person at 9:20, so it took me out of the running. But Longo and Deborah, you guys deserve them. There you go. Big show tomorrow. Obviously, we'll update the top stories and how it impacts you here in Georgia. Social media is active, even when I'm off the air, at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Thursday, Atlanta.